Dudes, how are you? I'm doing good today. Can't complain at all. You know, it's freezing outside, but I cannot complain about that at all. Second billing cycle, absolute for what? Feel bad about? There's no reason to feel bad at all. And it didn't run. It ran the normal amount of time. If I did the things that I was supposed to do beforehand, then I wouldn't have had to try to get off early anyway. Like it wasn't like I have nothing scheduled for these times. I thought I needed to get off to finish up some work, but I did finish up the work anyway. It wasn't really that big of a deal at all. What's up, Abon? How you doing tonight? Luke, how are you doing? Roads Go, Ricadius, it's good to see everybody. Happy Friday. I'm glad you all made it to Friday. Lastin, Uber King Kong, hope you're up, hope you're awake. I know the end of the week can be pretty tough. What's up, Hikaroshi? I know. What's up, Hellfire? Good to see you. Pones in. Yeah, so tonight we have a couple of different things here. Let me just get I'm still getting my setup good over here. We're gonna be learning a little bit about some of the extra things that are gonna help us manage AWS tonight. Some of the ways we can get information and pipelines. We've talked about observability. We're gonna learn about some of the tools tonight. We're not gonna learn about all of them. We'll learn about some of them next week as well, that are gonna allow us to get some insight into our systems, see what's going on with CloudWatch. We're also going to learn a little bit about Systems Manager and a little bit about AWS Cloud Console. Tonight, we should have time to just chat and to be able to ask questions. It should be it should be pretty light. We're going to hop into each of these things, but overall, we can take our time and explore them, but we don't have any, okay, Siri is, listening to me. Okay, we don't have any major things to do, so hopefully we'll have a lot of time to just chat and talk about different things and explore and dive deeper into what we are doing tonight. But should be pretty chill on the brain as well. But let me just move this. I have so many windows open from stuff that I was doing a little bit earlier. Also, side note, I'm gonna make more typing mistakes tonight than I usually make. The reason why is I finished a new build. I finished it. It's not complete because I'm still waiting for the alt pieces, the separate pieces down at the bottom. You can see the spacing is bad down here because these are not the right size due to the special keyboard layout. But the keycaps on this one are they're a slightly smaller top profile than the last keys. So this is the one that I have been typing on, and then this is the one I just built. Same size, same keyboard layout, but I'm definitely way less accurate. The keycaps, the top of the keycaps are way more narrow, and it's a little bit harder to be accurate, but it's okay. We're gonna dive into it. I also can't, because of the colors, you can probably see, I can't really see in the lighting of this room, I can't really see the keycaps, so it's kind of pointless for me to even look down at it. The switches are also a little bit weird to me. These are my first linears. These are the, what are they? These are Novel Keys creams. They are lubed and filmed. I did not do that. I bought them lubed and filmed already. But it's kind of weird. It's definitely different from what I'm normally used to. So all of my typing is thrown off, but it'll be fine. We'll make it through. I'll make, 20% more mistakes than I normally do, but we're used to that. We're 100% used to it, and it should be good to go here. I really can't even look down and see where I'm messing up. And now, there we go. I'm messing up a lot. Yeah, new keyboard. It's so weird. It's so weird. Where I found my custom keycaps. So I got all of these off of Drop. Drop had this. They had this ready to ship out. They also had the alts for this and the customs, and I forgot what the word is for the little extra ones, but they just haven't come yet. These came. I was really excited to build it, so I did, and I'm waiting for the other ones to come in right now. Let's see. I also do some buying off of Mech Market. I have a different set of keycaps that I bought for this board, but they're not going to be here until October. So a little group buy. So I gotta wait for that. This is my first group buy that I'm actually gonna wait for. I've canceled every other group buy before the time was up, but this time I will not do that. Thank you. Someone just followed. Hold on, I'm gonna get you. I'm just trying to clean up all the stuff. Trying to make sure I pulled up everything so I can monitor the stream as well. What's up, Nixon Blackman? Good to have you. Welcome to the channel. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing pretty well. What's the advantage of a mechanical keyboard? Is it the aesthetic? Yeah, the aesthetic is one thing, and besides that, the feel. There's a significant difference in the feel depending on how the keyboard is built, and you know, it's kind of intoxicating. It's something that you're going to type on all day, and yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's a nice. I accidentally stumbled upon mechanical keyboards. I did not actively get into it. I accidentally bought a mechanical keyboard. I didn't know it was mechanical, and when I got it, I was like, oh, this is like the best. If anyone wants to get into mechanical keyboards and doesn't know where to go, I think Red Dragon. If you go on the internet and look for, I think it's Red Dragon, they have a mechanical keyboard line that's around $45, where you can get either Cherry MX Blues. Well, I don't know if they're Cherry. They might be Gateron, but they're either blues or they're browns, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good for the price. I bought some for my nieces and nephews, and I was really floored by it. You're gonna have to go down a rabbit hole. There are different switch types which provide different feels. There's tactile switches, there's linear switches, there's clicky switches. It's crazy. It gets pretty far. Like, it gets super deep. I know all the information. I built a few, but I'm not like, I don't know it amazingly well, and like, I've only ever touched some of the super common keys. But yeah, I like browns a lot. This one has the Zelios V2s, which is like browns, which is a tactile switch, not super clicky like the blues. I prefer these to browns a lot, and I definitely prefer these to linears. I know I've only been using linears for one day, but I definitely prefer tactile switches to linear. Now I'm 100% sure of it. I do like these. Luckily, my keyboard is hot swappable, so if I never get used to these, I can swap them out. I probably get some pretty good resale value for these Novel Keys creams. All right, now I think we're ready, or I'm ready at least. Let me grab for you all the links. Linears are good for gaming. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna wait. That's what I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna see if I feel like it's a big benefit while gaming, or at least if I enjoy it while gaming. I haven't done any gaming with it yet at all, but we'll get there. Let me get you the slides for this evening. And let's share it. Make a command change so that the world can grab it. Let's see. The other thing I don't like about this is it feels as though the bottom out pressure is it's weird. It feels like the pressure is lighter to be able to activate the key between my old keys and these keys, but I find myself accidentally pressing keys even more. Slides hasn't been updated yet. It's almost there. Commands, edit, slides. That's the wrong one. I'm mistyping because I can't see my keys. Command, edit, slides. There we go. Nope. There we go. All right, now you can do exclamation point slides. It should give you the right one. Here is the link. Either way, if you need it. And we can get started. Today, most important in keyboard for me is noise. Mute crazy. It's interesting. I actually really do enjoy clicky keyboard switches. I like them a lot. I didn't realize how much they bother everyone else when you're not the one who's, you know, it doesn't bother me. I really do like it, but it does. It bothers the people in the house. It bothers people at work. But yeah, which color of cherry does the keyboard have? So yeah, the one I'm using now has linear Novel Keys creams. The other one I have is using Telios V2s, and I do like browns a lot. Today's date is a palindrome. First off, what is today's date? That's the problem. 2/12. No, it's not. Well, okay, it is. Not including the year, I guess. Not, yeah. Okay, there we go. It is. That means it's a fancy day. It is Friday as well. You know, that's very, very exciting. Side note, I'll probably be checking my phone throughout this entire thing because we have food on the way, you know, and the family's hungry. Okay, we need to make sure that it gets delivered. successfully. It's got to happen. It has to happen today. Been a wild day. All right, so let's get started. Let's get through this as quick as we can, give you as much time on your Friday as you can get back. Here we go. Horizons, you're on day 6 of 8. Tonight, we're going to be learning about CloudWatch, Systems Manager, and Cloud Console. And again, we're going to be learning about these things in the paradigm of of what you need to know about them up front, especially going into the Cloud Practitioner exam, and as well as the Solutions Architect Associates, or really all the associates, honestly. Maybe not so much the SysOps, but definitely the developer and the Solutions Architect. We'll just be diving into them a bit. We won't ask whatever questions you want to ask. We can explore as much as we want to explore today, but this isn't a crazy amount of stuff today. So CloudWatch. CloudWatch does have a lot in it though. What is CloudWatch? This is another one of Amazon's many services. Amazon CloudWatch. It is a monitoring tool and management service that provides data and actionable insights for AWS, hybrid, and on-prem applications and infrastructure resources. So we'll stop there before we read the rest of the stuff. The first thing you should be committing to your memory is that now we're talking about both monitoring and management. So those are two good words. Monitoring is, checking metrics, seeing what's going on, having your finger on the pulse of your infrastructure and your applications, and having an understanding of what's going on. Again, this is a part of what we talked about when we talked about observability in pipelines, but knowing what's going on with a system. CloudWatch is going to give us some tools to be able to monitor our systems and to make actionable insights. Okay, that's really important there. But not only is it for AWS resources, it is for hybrid and on-prem things as well. That is a key thing to remember, that it's not AWS only. You can use CloudWatch to be able to collect metrics on-prem systems as well. With CloudWatch, you can collect and access all your performance and operational data in form of logs and metrics from a single platform. So this is essentially, it can be your single pane of glass for accessing this information. We're gonna take a look at it in a second, but it collects this data and it presents it to you how you want it to be presented. There's a number of ways you can configure how this data is presented to you. There's a number of ways for you to configure what data is collected and presented to you as well, but it is pretty cool. Think, it is specifically around the performance of an application or the performance of infrastructure, and that is the main goal of it. There are other tools inside of Amazon for some other types of monitoring that have a different type of focus that I think we're going to talk about them next time. I think they're a part of the security piece of it, but performance is what we are kind of measuring and looking at here. So when we talk about CloudWatch as being a monitoring platform, what can we monitor? What can we look at? And so you can't look at everything using CloudWatch. It's not available for all of the 200 services that exist inside of Amazon, but it has some main services that it's useful for. We can monitor, and CloudWatch has a bunch of stuff. So notice we're talking about monitoring here, compute. So we can monitor that compute capacity and those compute metrics for EC2. We can do it as well for auto scaling groups. EC2 is probably going to be the biggest thing that most people monitor with this, but auto scaling groups, you can check out metrics and get some understanding of how your auto scaling groups are working, as well as the EC2 instances. ELBs, I should probably capitalize that L to make it a little bit clearer, but elastic load balancers as well. We can find out information about elastic load balancers, see what's going on there, as well as Route 53. You can get there's some cool metrics you can collect on DNS and how the routing's going and what's going on within your Route 53 environment. And we can also do some monitoring over top of our storage items. So EBS, that's elastic block storage. Remember that's the persistent data storage that backs EC2 and that you can disconnect and take snapshots of, and it's really nice. We can get information about that. We can watch EBS volumes and get some information about their usage and how data is transferred in and out and things like that. Storage gateways as well. We talked a bit about storage gateways in the on-prem section of this course. Storage gateways are a way for you to easily be able to deal with storage between your data center and AWS. It provides a really cool way to transfer data and to cache data, and it's really smart about moving data back and forth. It is an actual appliance. You can find out information about that. And CloudFront, you can collect information about CloudFront. We talked about CloudFront being this content delivery network where it's got edge locations around the world, and it helps for you to be able to deliver an origin server or service to people around the world. You can get information and collect metrics about that as well. There are a few more things. These are the main things that it does cover and that you would use this to monitor. Most of the time, you're going to be using it to monitor things related to EC2. So those auto scaling groups only related to EC2. Same thing for those load balancers as well. But yeah, these are some of the things. These are the main things that you can monitor. And so when we are talking about what we're monitoring, the things that we're collecting metrics back, okay? So we talked about observability, and we talked about how observability was the ability to be able to look at the outside of a system to gain enough to be able to look at the outside of a system to have full understanding of what's going on inside the system. Monitoring is a piece of that. It is a portion of having that understanding, and CloudWatch does give you, I don't think it gives you a complete, depending on the application, depending on the setup, I don't think it gives you a complete, I guess, suite of observability tools, but it gives you a lot of good stuff. But the monitoring aspect of it is going to take into account metrics, and you're going to be monitoring metrics. These are going to be point in time measurements of different things. And this has some standard metrics, okay? Because I'm telling you the standard metrics, you should already be thinking that anything on this list is non-standard. It doesn't mean that you can't get them. We'll talk about how you can get them. But some of these standard metrics that you can get are CPU utilization. So you can see how much CPU is being used, okay? At any given time, you can find out what percentage of CPU is being used by a system, and that's really good information to know. And we'll check into that tonight as well. Network throughput, you can find out, how much data is going in and out of your systems. That can be super helpful to identify different things and to see certain things. Disk operations. I want to be clear here that I did not say disk usage, disk operations. So again, reads and writes to your disk, rather than the total usage. Usage is not a standard or a metric that you can grab out of the box. Unfortunately, it seems kind of weird, but it is something that you can get later on. But disk operations and basic service status checks. So these are all host level metrics. So you can find out, if a server or a service is up or not. It can check different health checks. So Route 53 has health checks. Your load balancers have health checks. It can check against a lot of those things standard to make sure that these services and systems are up. Big exam topic, something really good to know, especially as a solutions architect. But these 5-minute data points. So does this metrics include IOPS? I do not believe that IOPS are standard. You can get IOPS information. I don't think it's standard, but we can check on that in a second. So by default, it gives you 5-minute monitoring, which is basically you get data points in 5-minute intervals. And so that can be, that might be good enough for you. That's good enough for a lot of individual users and things, but it's not always granular enough for, higher caliber, higher tier clients. And so you can get faster than 5-minute data points. You can actually get 1-minute data points, but this is called detailed monitoring. These 2 points are very, very important to remember about AWS. By default, you get 5 minutes monitoring, 5 minutes of data points. So you basically, it checks in. You get information fed back to you over the course, over a span of 5 minutes. But you can get detailed monitoring down to the 1 minute. You do have to pay more for this. There is a cost associated with detailed monitoring. I don't know what the cost is. We'll have to look it up, but there is a cost associated with it, and you can enable something that you can enable when provisioning a system. All right, and it's available, but it's non-standard. So the way that you are able to utilize additional metrics is through something called custom metrics. So we got standard metrics, and then we have custom metrics. you can actually create your own metrics in a couple of different ways. So the way that you do it, and I'll show you guys a guide on this, is you can actually log into a system and you can basically run some commands or run a script, a type of script, and you can have that script at the end send specific information into CloudWatch, which you can then capture on your own CloudWatch dashboard. We're gonna look at the dashboard and you can collect specific things. This is, you might think it's weird to not collect information such as RAM. Memory usage is not a standard metric. Seems weird, but it's not a standard metric here. It's something that you can capture. You can really whatever you can run a command to see in Linux to be able to get numbered information back from, or integer information back from. You can go ahead and monitor that thing. You can and not only that, you can actually implement all kinds of stuff pretty easily. Are we able to modify the metrics via the console? Yes, you are. I don't think you can't. I don't know of a way. Maybe I need to check this. I don't know. Well, I'll take that back. You can't, in CloudWatch, you can't create a lot of these custom metrics. A lot of those have to be done from the system itself, but you can do those in the console elsewhere with some of the tools that we're going to talk about later tonight as well. Not Real Zeus, good to see you. Blazer Thief, welcome to the channel. Nixon, Blackmond, welcome as well. I think I got you before, or maybe not. Court with a K, welcome. See, the Clubhouse crew is coming through. I appreciate you coming through. Welcome, Nash, good to see you as well. Let's see, who else did I miss? SB, oh well, you're probably not here, but 6 hours ago. What's up, man? It's good to see you. Cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about those custom metrics. The last thing we'll talk about, the last two things we'll talk about is alarms. Last two things we'll talk about for specifically this before we hop into it is alarms. You can create CloudWatch alarms. So if you're used to using something like Nagios, or I'm sure Prometheus, or any of these monitoring platforms, if you're used to using something like Shinken or SolarWinds, the thing that you get, if you're monitoring these things, you want to know when something is going wrong. You want to know when something is not acting as you intended it to act. So this is where alarms come in. So you can set up these alerts to follow any metric, and you can have it alert you in a number of different ways. What's really cool is that these alarms we haven't talked about it a lot yet, but they use SNS. So Amazon has a service called Simple Notification Service, and it uses SNS to do its notifications. So you can send emails pretty easily. You can also set up topics to send to Slack, to send to Discord, to send to wherever, to text you to your phone. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty easy to do, but you can have alarms. So you can set thresholds for different values. So if I want to say, hey, every time this CPU gets up to 50%, it's over 50%. And not only can you set a threshold, you can set a threshold over time. So you can say, once it's over 50% for 8 check-ins, okay? 8 check-ins, go ahead and give me an alert so I can go take a look at this thing, so I'm aware that there's a lot of usage here. That's not a lot of usage, but just saying that. And you can set alarms for that. Can you call a Lambda with an alarm? So there is some a relatively new introduced functionality. There is functionality to where you can take action based on an alarm. If an alert or an alarm goes off, you can take some EC2 actions based on those things inside of the alarm, which is helpful. I don't know how to call a Lambda with alarm. I've never used that functionality yet. So we can go in there and look. I'm not sure. But I'm assuming that you can. It looks like Pete DeManger. That sounds like you can. So probably pretty easy to do. We'll look in there and see if we can easily see how to do it, but it will make sense if you can take actions on it. Now, I don't think this is a feature that's been around for that long though. I've never been made aware of this feature. I found it maybe 6 to 8 months ago, 6 months ago. I saw it for the first time, and I thought it was pretty interesting that I had never come across it before, that you could take actions based on these alarms. But yeah, it seemed limited from what I was looking at, but I'm sure you can probably do it. So that's alarms. We're gonna look at that as well. The last thing that I didn't put a slide in here for which I really should, is logging. And so I'm gonna log into the console right now, but logging. So these metrics are great. Monitoring is great. What helps make sense of metrics on their own aren't necessarily the most useful thing. The thing that makes them useful is logs as well. The things that can make them useful is logs. So, being able to see when this thing spiked at this time, if I can go look at the logs and understand what went on there. We do have in CloudWatch, there is good log aggregation, okay? And notice I used the word aggregation there. All right, I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna show you some things. But if you are unaware, we talked about logging a little bit and what it is. Imagine you have, so let's say we have one system right now, running right now. You all are accessing it right now, and people are hitting certain pages, and I want to see what's going on. And I look at I can go in, I can tail those logs and see what's happening at any given time, see what's happening over time, see who's accessing what, all that good stuff. That's great. What if we have 20 servers? What if we have 100 servers? Does it make sense for us to have to log into each of these servers and systems and parse through these logs on our own? Maybe, but to me that doesn't seem like it makes much sense. One great thing about CloudWatch in particular is it has log aggregation. And so you can, there's this paradigm called log groups. There's a grouping of logs, and you can send data from any of their services really that offers logging. You can pipe it into CloudWatch, which is great. So you can pipe them into the same log groups. You can pipe them into different log groups to split them out. You maybe have Lambdas running. You have all the stuff that's a part of one application. You can pipe into one specific place, but it allows you to have a place where you can both aggregate and parse logs pretty effectively, actually. And it's kind of nice. So let me get logged in real quick here, and let's go ahead and look at some of this stuff. I can't see this is gonna be a problem. Why is this gonna be a problem? Because, okay, cool. I really can't see any of the keys on my keyboard, like any of the characters, which is a good thing. But for passwords, it's gonna suck. All right. Alarm fatigue can partially be solved with levels of importance. Partially. I think partially. I agree with it. I agree with the statement partially. I think my thoughts on alarm fatigue. So this is something good for everyone to know. What is alarm fatigue? Alarm fatigue comes in when you have lots of systems, or you have a system that you are keeping track of, that you are monitoring, that you are keeping an eye on. And a lot of times your systems may cause false alarms because you have thresholds set incorrectly, or you have certain jobs and things that run, or it could be a number of reasons to why your systems would send an alert or an alarm that is not necessarily something that you should worry about. It can be very difficult to properly dial in and tailor these alarms and these alert thresholds to make sense for everything you're trying to do, and to not catch random one-off things here and there. Alarm or alert fatigue comes in when you receive them pretty often, and you start to understand when you can expect some of these things, and you start to understand that, hey, when I see this and it's this time of day, it's probably this job that runs blah blah blah. Alarm and alert fatigue means that when something bad does happen, that you're less likely to respond to it in an effective or speedy manner, because you're so fatigued by all the alarms that are coming in. You're not watching them closely. You're not reading them to see what's happening. You're used to seeing them so much that that you're just kind of ignoring alarms as they come in. Yes, setting levels of importance does help. I think ultimately the only thing that really works is to be able to you have to reduce. You got to work hard to reduce the number of alarms. You got to stop unnecessary alarms. You got to figure out a good way to suppress common alarms and stuff. You have to get people to stop seeing them, or else you will always have alarm fatigue. I think I've worked on enough teams now. I've worked in enough places that I think you always have it. To be honest, I name my alarms that because freak out, like billing alarm scary. That's funny. I mean, That's a good one to freak out about for sure. Um, by clicking OK on the one that pops up every time without reading the message, yeah, you'll do that. You will do it. You have to, like, your brain just will. I imagine it'll take more sense when we get to setting alarms. Yeah, for sure. Brady man in the Navy, you'll get used to alarm fatigue. So many alarms go off. Yeah, it can be problematic. I mean, I don't think it's always the end of the world, depending on what your setup is, what your system is, the scope of work that you're doing. But it's definitely something to be concerned about. So let's hop into CloudWatch real fast. Oh, this type of, like, in my mind, I actually think I thought that having a keycap with a smaller surface area on top would actually make it easier for me, because it would give me more space not to touch another key next to it. But man, I'm having a lot of trouble finding these keys. Okay, so here is the CloudWatch dashboard. It actually looks a lot different from well, maybe not a lot different. Definitely looks different to me. It's got a lot of stuff here. So take a look at what we have over on the left. Dashboards. This is one of the most powerful features of this tool. It's very helpful. So you can create these custom panes of glass. You can set up certain metrics. You can set up graphs. Everything that you need, you can set up right here after you kind of get it enabled everywhere else. And you can create a dashboard or as many dashboards as you want with specific information on them. So maybe you will maybe you'll have a dashboard that has very specific metrics for only your subset of web servers, and maybe the load balancers connected to them, things like that. And maybe you will have some metrics connected to maybe a caching layer that you might have, and servers that are running that caching layer. And then you'll have some for your persistent storage or something like that. You can switch it up however you'd like. You can put whatever you want on it. You can put everything on one dashboard. However you feel is what you can do. So it's pretty nice. We're going to create a dashboard a little bit later, but we need some information to populate the dashboard with. So we do need to set up some metrics. I appreciate that, Potlicker. I really do. Is there a way to track down user actions with CloudWatch or on an account? Potlicker, great question. This is where people usually get confused. Yes, not in CloudWatch. In CloudWatch, there is not. The tool that's going to do that, Potlicker, is something called CloudTrail. We're going to learn about that next week in the security and compliance portion of this. CloudTrail will allow you to see all the actions that users take, all the actions that people make against your account's API. You can track down pretty much anything in there. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do a little bit of tracing on our own in there, but not in CloudWatch. CloudTrail is for that. I appreciate that, Definite Optimist, as well. I really do. Okay, so over here on the left, we have our dashboards up top. Then we have our alarms. Notice how we have a couple of different types of alarms. We have things that are in alarm. Right now, this is a brand new account. We don't have anything in here, but nothing is currently alarming. The stuff in alarm is going to be things that are currently firing off. They've crossed the thresholds that you have set, and so they're in alarm. Insufficient data means that it's unable to receive the data that's supposed to satisfy the metrics. So maybe, that could be a network problem. It could be that you don't have it set up properly. Could be a number of different things, but insufficient data, your stuff will generally go there immediately as soon as you create a metric and an alarm, while it's still trying to collect enough information to understand what's going on. Insufficient data things will show up there in the insufficient data section. And then okay is going to be all the things that are not alarming, things that you've enabled alarms for, but they're good to go. Okay. And then we have a specific billing section for billing alarms here. Logs. This is, like I said, a very important place to monitor, analyze, and store logs. Now, Amazon has a number of really cool ways to work with your logs. They have a lot of services that can support you in this. So, CloudWatch logs. This is where you can store your logs, aggregate them. You can run queries against these logs. You can do some cool stuff with them. You can look through them. It's great. It's super helpful. The way that it combines these things is you can create these groups for logs. You can create log grouping. So maybe I have maybe I have like 4 different types of services that are all utilizing and serving my application. Maybe I want to send all of those into a singular log group so that I can, it is different services, but maybe I can look through those in that way. Maybe I want to send each service type to a different log group. The world is your oyster here. You can modify it how you'd like, but logging, this is where you can aggregate all your logs and store all your logs. You can also use S3 to store your logs as well, and still utilize the information that is here and the tools that are here. There's also some other cool tools like Athena that you can use to query your logs a lot better. We haven't learned about Athena. We won't learn about Athena, and maybe we'll touch Athena in the intermediate level course. But yeah, log groups. There's a lot of different tools that can help you parse through your logs and get a better understanding of what's happening with your logs to help you analyze them as well. Metrics, this is where you are going to create those different metrics for things, where those different data points that you are going to collect information on. This is where you're going to handle a lot of that stuff at. Events, CloudWatch events is really cool. Now there's this new Events Bridge thing. This is Events Bridge it's relatively new. A lot of the older school people to Amazon, this is a newer thing that's kind of encompasses what CloudWatch events originally did, but adds a lot more features on top of it. What CloudWatch events was for was allow you to create event-driven workflows. Okay, what are event-driven workflows? This is where an event, it's something that happens, triggers something else in the workflow. And so you'd use these CloudWatch events to do that. You can do them in a number of different ways. You could trigger an event using Lambda or something like that. You could also set up a cron type structure here. So I could implement something that had a cron expression, and it would run every, use that to kick off a job every certain amount of time, whatever. But it would kick off an event. So CloudWatch events was cool for that. And you can set up these rules, which is basically the cron like timed items, which is super helpful. But again, like I said, there's now this Event Bridge service. Don't know a ton about it, to be 100% honest, but all that functionality has been moved inside of there. Service lens. So service lens is another way for you to kind of see things a little bit deeper. And it's specifically, a lot of this is around microservice based applications. It helps give you some more observability. So service lens is more of an observability tool, not something that you need to know about yet. Cool tool, relatively new, but it's designed specifically around troubleshooting and understanding microservices, which I don't think we've talked about yet, so you may not know what that is. Containers, some stuff that's specific to containers. They're for ECS and AKS. So for both their Elastic Container Service and the Amazon Kubernetes service as well. Lambda Insights, this will give you some good insights on Lambda. So insights are really cool because insights give you, again, a little deeper querying functionality and allow you to see things a little bit deeper, but it helps you monitor these tools as well. I don't remember what synthetics is. Monitor web applications using modular lightweight canary tests. We talked about canary tests. I actually have never used this before. I'm not really sure which you would use it for. Maybe that's something we could check out. And yeah, so that's kind of the stuff that's in here. So a lot of tools that help enable that observability that we were talking about. Let's see. Just to be clear, CloudWatch doesn't keep activity logs. It doesn't keep activity logs for things that happen inside of your AWS account. No, it does not. It keeps performance and infrastructure and application logs. So it tracks metrics for how your infrastructure is doing as well as your applications. Log groups are killer for Kubernetes. Yeah, by namespace deployment name. Yeah, I agree. So log aggregation period has been. I remember the first time I ever even knew there was a good tool for it. I have been like kind of doing it manually at a company before, and then we found out about a simple tool, another SolarWinds tool called Papertrail. It is a very simple tool, very simple. And all you do is you just set up some stuff in your system that it sends your logs directly over a network. That's all it does. and it simply aggregates them unless you see them in one place. It doesn't add much more features than that, and I would pay big money for this because once you have more and more systems, once you have systems that are going up and down, it makes it so much easier to kind of see things. You don't want to be logging into things manually. It's trash. Let's see. Is it possible to integrate CloudWatch with Splunk for visualization purposes? Yeah. So you probably wouldn't even need to do that. Splunk, you could probably simply consume. You can probably save the logs. Just ensure you're saving the logs to S3, and with Splunk, you could just consume the logs directly from S3 rather than doing anything from CloudWatch. Maybe there's a way, maybe there's some kind of plugin or integration there that I don't know about, but it feels like the easiest way would be for Splunk to grab those directly from the S3 buckets. But yeah, but Datadog is my friend. Yeah, all those tools that we talked about, those observability tools, all those APM tools and stuff. Yeah, I've heard amazing things about Datadog. I just haven't worked on a project large enough to really need all of the functionality that Datadog has, to be 100% honest. What's up, Joseph and Yoki D, French Louis? Welcome to the channel. FRDS, good to have you. I mean, if your name means what I think it means, RDS, I'm kind of with you there. That darn relational database service. What's up, Orco? It's good to have you as well. Cross Genesis, welcome. When free tier ends after a year, you have to pay for CloudWatch, right? Or is it free? So CloudWatch, if you're not doing any advanced, if you're not doing detailed monitoring, and you're not doing any kind of fancy, there's a few other fancy options. I'm pretty sure this is free. And it's an addition because you're paying for the other services. Pretty sure it's free. Also, when your free tier gets renewed yearly, your free tier is a yearly renewal. So like you get an allotment for an entire year, but it does restart going into the next year. I'm pretty sure, unless that's changed. Let me confirm that because I already know they've changed one thing about it. AWS free tier, yearly. Pretty sure it's a year though. 12-month free tier allows customers free 1 year from the start date. Oh, that's whack. Services with an always free. Okay, so this is what they did instead. They've now dubbed some services as always free, but not everything. It used to be their model used to be that your free tier access would restart and you would regain your 750 hours per month or whatever for the whole year, whatever. Like it would all kind of refresh. So you would have a certain pool of free tier hours, but very interesting. But yeah, CloudWatch, I'm pretty sure is free besides the detailed monitoring. Some of the service lens stuff might cost. I'm pretty sure events are free. Logs and log groups, I'm pretty sure are free unless you save to, if you are saving to S3. If you're saving these to S3, you would have to pay for storage, which is pretty cheap, but you also have to pay for data transfer as well. Could be a lot depending on what you're doing. I have no idea. How do you like your Surface 3? I have a Surface Pro 7. I love it. I really do like it a lot. So much so that I want to start using this. So far, it's been a dedicated streaming computer. I kind of leave it right here. I kind of want to make it my portable device because I have two desktops. I have a desktop here in the office, but I kind of want to make it my portable computing thing. But I have a feeling I would like leave it in my backpack or something when I really need to stream with it. But I like it. I definitely like it. I now understand, now that I do more productivity things, I understand the appeal of the Surface devices. I never understood the appeal of Surface devices before. The pen is amazing. The drawing and writing experience is far superior. I have an iPad Pro sitting right next to me that I use as well. I have a pen for that too. It is garbage in comparison to me. The pen is the Apple Pencil. It's like very hard, and you don't notice it at first. It makes sense in your mind. You have this little stylus you're writing with. The Surface Pencil has this little like tip that gives a little bit. It has some give, and so when you're writing, it has a much softer feel, and like it doesn't feel like a stick on glass. Like it feels like I'm kind of right. I don't know. I like it. The problem is if you're using it as a tablet, it's pretty doo doo. Like it's not a great tablet experience, but it is a phenomenal learning device. If you are, because of Windows split screen, like being able to just take the browser and stick it over here and then open up like open up like OneNote or something, and like I can sit there and I can watch a video, and like I do this all the time, like to do work, and I watch a video over here, and I'll just take my notes over here, and it's super helpful, and I really do like that a lot. But yeah. Stick on glass communication experience very clearly. I mean, yeah, and I do like it. That's not to say that it is a bad experience. When you're going back and forth between them, it is glaringly obvious. Like the writing experience to me, just on the surface, is better. But again, if you're going to use it as a tablet, it's doo-doo. Don't use it as a tablet. Like don't make it an entertainment tablet device. There's not a lot of apps. There's not a lot of desktop user apps. The iPad is certainly more fun. I will give you that. Definitely more fun. Games and a lot of fancy features. I like it. Does have a lot of fancy features and stuff, so I use them interchangeably. Okay, so let's create an alarm. Let's mess around with this a little bit. So let's create an alarm really quick. First, we need to create a server or a service. So you know what we're gonna do first? We don't have any servers up, right? I don't think we do. Oh yeah, we do. Wow. We should have torn these down. This is gonna cost us a little bit of moolah. Actually, it's free tier. So, okay. Well, we have some servers and services up. So great. This is exciting. Now we can go ahead and do this. Now, one thing I do want to tell you about CloudWatch is one of the reasons why I want to let you know how it works, so that since you know how to use it in case you want to do something on-prem. One of the reason you can use it on-prem is because all CloudWatch does when you do enable it, all it does is install a daemon onto your system. The same. So this is also going to be true about Systems Manager that we're going to talk about. They install little daemons, little tools that run on your system that are just sending information along. And for you to use this on another system, you simply install it on that system and configure it to send that information out. You got to do some security stuff as well, but yeah. All right, so we do have some systems here. So this was for the pipelines course. We were utilizing Terraform to spin up some servers and some services. I'm going to tear some of these down real quick, and we will we can work with it after that. Let me get logged in, and I'll tear them down. Ooh, this is the first time I've been on the command line with this keyboard. Ooh, that was wrong. Come on, I just need, that's my longest typed password. I need that to be right, and it's hold on. There we go. Come on. All right, there we go. All right, from here I can do well. So let me make this larger. So we were learning here on this course last week, I think it was, we did the CDK and the CloudFormation stuff. So if you're not following along in pipelines, we did the tool that's kind of cloud agnostic, that does the same things that we did with infrastructure as code with the CDK and CloudFormation, which is called Terraform. We use that to be able to provision some servers. And we just did this 2 days ago, I think. And so let me do this. So Terraform main, no, this is actually not it. I don't think it's there. Did we have a pipelines directory? We did. I think this is where we need to go. Okay, so in production, let's modify our production TF vars. Let me drop it down to, instead of 4, I don't want 4. I'm just gonna do 1 of each to save myself some money. I'm doing this now so I don't forget a little bit later. And yeah, let's do this. So it's basically going to delete 3 of my servers because you know, your boy gotta stop wasting his money. You know, got a baby on the way, gotta stop wasting the moolah. Let's go ahead and deprovision some of those real fast, and maybe we can look at some metrics for the last one. Also, I should actually destroy all of them because I'm gonna have to create another server. I'm actually gonna have to create another server because I can't log into these. I want to be able to log into at least one of them. Yeah, we'll do that real quick. But what I can do is let me grab, I can't log into any of these because we did not create any keys for any of these, but I can show you what information we do get. So if you actually click on one of your EC2 instances, okay, you get some CloudWatch information by default. You get some of those standard metrics by default. So if you click this monitoring tab, you highlight one of your servers, you click that monitoring tab, and you get some information. You get these little widgets. All right, they call them widgets. And Sean, what's up? Yes, very soon. Like very soon. It was supposed to be mid to late March. It might, you know, we might not. It might not be then. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But you get these widgets right here that are going to give you some good information. This is super helpful right out of the box. Let's take a look at what you get out of the box. CPU utilization. Remember, we threw that up there. That's the compute capacity that you get. Status checks. This is whether or not the system is up or down, okay? Let's see. I don't know what the difference between these 3. I need to see the whole name. So gonna give it to me. Whatever. Status checks is gonna tell it whether or not it's failing status checks or not. You can see the amount of network traffic that is going in and out. You can see network packets in and out, which is helpful. And there should be a pretty good correlation here, just with the different counts. And we can see disk reads, disk writes, read disk operations, write disk operations. So the amount of operations, and then the amount of data that's being written. But you can, I still don't understand why. I don't understand why you don't have access to this, but it won't tell you utilization by default. You must go in and do that. It might have to do with the way that the drives are partitioned, the way that you can create new partitions and stuff. So they might make you do it yourself because of that. Then they give you CPU credit usage. So what is that? I'm not sure we talked about this at all. Some of the EC2 class instance classes, they have what's called they have burstable resources. Okay, so if you should need more resources at a given time, more than you have currently, more than you have provisioned, it will allow you to consume that a little bit more, allow you to burst above what you have access to. And these generally cost you credits. And so the time that you spend not bursting, Amazon will provide you with these CPU credits, okay, that you can use to be able to burst over your limit later on if you need it. So you can see, you know, how often you're using some of that CPU credits, and you can see your CPU credit balance to make sure you still have some if you need them. Okay, hold on real quick. The our DoorDash was dropped off. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. So, these are the options that you have available to you right up front. All right, so what we could do is let's create a service real quick. I'm not gonna do it through Terraform. I'm actually just gonna destroy all this real quick because I want to save myself some money. Come on. We'll make our own while we're tearing this down. So let's go ahead and create a brand new instance. And so you can do this. I'm going to enable detailed monitoring. You should not enable it because it's going to cost you money if you don't mind paying it. I mean, it's going to be a very small amount if you don't keep it around for long, but it does cost money to do that. I will do Let's do a Amazon Linux 2 instance for now. And I'll select it. I never create instances this way, or I don't do it often. So I'm trying to make sure I don't skip over the part where you enable increased monitoring. So it's probably in this page right here. Let's see, there's probably a monitoring, enable CloudWatch detailed monitoring. And it'll talk about the additional charges here. But again, all detailed monitoring does is it gives you 1 minute data points rather than 5 minute data points, which is helpful. That can be very beneficial. It can be very beneficial to you. But cool, you enable it. What's the pricing on this? I have no idea what the pricing is for this. So free tier, you can get started with CloudWatch for free. Most services, EC2 vendor metrics automatically for free. So that answers the first question that was asked a while ago. It is free. Many applications operate within these free tier limits. Great. New to your channel, how you going? Talked about how to harden AWS systems. So what's up, Scruffle Gruff? First off, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you. I'm sorry that I'm sorry I didn't see your follow. But yeah, welcome. We have not talked about how to harden instances yet. So next week is the security week. So next week we will be talking about those things. It's all about AWS, and it's about security and compliance. We'll talk about the rule of least privilege, all that stuff, things you can do, two-factor auth, removing your root credentials, all that other stuff. We will talk about that next Friday. That's on the schedule for next Friday. So good question. We will also go deeper into that in the second part. We're actually gonna be implementing a lot of security in the second stage of this. So the following 8 weeks to this, we'll be talking about that a lot. Dope. If you hit exclamation point website, it'll take you to where you can get to the if you want to see the curriculum for these classes and what we're doing each week. I think that'll do it. I think that'll give you the website, I'm pretty sure. But it's academy.mastermind.io. You can see what we're doing every week. What's up, Andre Games? Good to see you. What's up, Anikiao? Welcome. Your shotgun brother, thank you so much for following. Gojira, good to see you. I'm sure you're excited about the movie. What's up, Herb? Welcome to the channel. Esteem, welcome. Good to have you all here. But yeah, if you click on that website and you go to the Journeys tab and click the little Journeys button, tonight we are doing the one. If you scroll down, we're doing the one called Horizons, a journey into cloud computing with AWS. We do 2 other ones called Pipelines and Decoded, which are going on right now. One's Monday, Wednesday, one's Tuesday, Thursday. So yeah, check it out. Definitely check it out. All right, so it's charged via, so yeah, basic monitoring, you get the 5-minute frequency. Oh, you can actually get 10 detailed metrics for free, I guess, per month as a part of the free tier. So it might not cost you any money. So you could enable it if you want, and you get 1 million API requests. That's a lot of API requests. You'll be good on that. You don't really have to worry. Well, you probably don't have to worry about that. It depends on how your application is set up. You can get 3 dashboards for free. That's good to know, actually. 10 alarm metrics. Okay, that's helpful. And this is the amount of log data. So you do need to be wary about the amount of data your logs are consuming. That is one problem with log aggregation, is the amount of data that's being consumed, for sure. I still want to learn more about the synthetics. 100 Canary runs per month. So we know what Canary deployments are. We talked about those deployment models. We know what Canary deployments are. I wonder what they mean about these Canary synthetics. I wonder if they're sending through fake information. I'm not sure, because I know they'll charge you for EC2 100%. They definitely will. Okay, let's go ahead and set up the system as storage. I'll leave it at 8. I just want it to be something I can log into real quick. We'll add a tag for this. We'll give it a name tag, and let's call this CloudWatch. Oh, this is gonna make me better though. Maybe I like this. Not being able to see the keys, it forces me into being better. 22. Let's go ahead and add 80 just because, in case we want to get a web server started on here. Review and launch. I need a new key pair because this is a new account, and I didn't want to pull one into this one. Let's go ahead and create one. Let's call this one. Let's make a permanent Academy one. I'll call it Academy. And I'll do underscore. What's today's date? Today is 2021 underscore 02 2012. Let's do that. I'll download it to my system. Let's put it in documents. Do I not have an AWS keys? Yeah, I put it in documents. Cool. Let's launch this one. Dope. Let's go ahead and shut down these other ones real quick. Terraform. What do I need to do? Workspace. Come on, typing hands. Workspace, select. There we go. If I slow it down, we're good. My brain just wants to go much faster. Workspace, select. I want staging. Ooh, you see that? That was, after I typed in the word works, like the W, we were at 100% accuracy right there. We're getting there. And then we will do Terraform. 100% accuracy. Let's go. Terraform. Destroy. Oh, your boy. Oh, darn it. I need to Terraform destroy dash var dash file. All right, we're gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to change my keyboard real quick. Var files. The var file here is, what is it? Staging.tf vars. Everyone new to the channel, I'm a bad typist, and I built a new keyboard where I can't actually see my keys. So yeah, that's it. Var file. Wait, can you actually do a var fu 100%? 100%. It is right. It's got to be right. Okay, so we'll do that. But let's get logged into here. Do you have the original FNJ? Yes. So I do, and I use them. This is my problem with them. I'm pretty accurate with my left hand. I know it might sound weird. I'm pretty accurate with my left hand because I'm more. I have more dexterity in my right hand. It's easy for me to leave my left hand right where it's supposed to be, and I can usually find those keys pretty well. My problem is I touch way more keys than I'm supposed to with my right hand, and I move my right hand around, and whenever I come back, I struggle. Like whenever I move it off, and then I never come back to the right spot. The F and J keys, I have the little ridges there. They do help. They help. I'm when I'm not in front of y'all, I'm telling y'all, I've been doing pretty good on Type Racer. I've been doing really good on Type Racer. I've been getting like I started out at like 30 words per minute. I'm actually a pretty fast typist if I'm looking at the keyboard, but that's kind of useless for me. I really want to stop looking at the keyboard. If I'm looking at the keyboard, I can get around 75, 80 words per minute. If I'm touch typing, I was at like 30. Now I'm up to around 50, 55, depending on the day. Really working on trying to get farther along. But when I'm in front of y'all, whenever I'm in front of y'all, I cannot type. Can't do it. All right, so we got this CloudWatch metrics server. Let's go ahead and let's get logged into this CloudWatch metrics server just so we can start to create some metrics. I'm gonna let you all hit the service, hit the server. We'll create, actually, let's create some metrics for it first. We can go to, let's set an alarm up first. Let's go to CloudWatch alarms. When do the excursions happen? Excursions are going to be kicking off in March. So we're gonna be done with all of these. We're gonna be done with the journeys at the end of February. So like February 26th or 27th. Journeys will begin right at the beginning of March. We probably won't be able to run as the journeys will probably light this time around, unfortunately, unless there's supposed to be someone helping out who's gonna be teaching some of them. We'll see how that goes. Again, we're really close to being on baby alert, so it'll probably be pretty light for the month of March. We'll probably only run 4 of them. I was going to try to run all of them, but we'll probably run 4 of them. Definitely going to do Docker. If anyone's interested in Docker, for sure do Docker. We'll probably do a Saturday where we try to do as much of the Git masterclass as we can, and probably like a 4 to 5 hour stream for the Git masterclass. We might not run the Kubernetes, might be the one we don't run. I think we're gonna try to run the Linux one as well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But they usually happen in between. We're trying to work on a way that they can happen more. There's gonna be someone again also helping teach some of those things just because I have a limited amount of time. But yeah. All right, so let's create ourselves an alarm. Let's go in here, and all you got to do to create an alarm is just click the alarm section on where we were. I'm kind of fumbling. I'm going to fumble through this guaranteed because, like I said, I usually do things like this through code, but it's okay. We're gonna figure it out. Click alarms, click create alarm, should be good to go. And so it's gonna first ask you what metric you want to alarm off of. All right, so you can select a metric here. I'm going to select EC2. I want to see the types of metrics that are available for EC2. So each of these different services, your billing, your logging, your usage, EBS, they have different types of alarms, okay? Much different types of alarms. And so you can click here, you can do the alarm by aggregated instance type. So basically there are 7 metrics here. All of my metrics of the same type will go into this alarm, but I'm gonna do per instance. I'm only gonna set the alarms for the instance, the current instance that we're talking about. Let's see, I'm definitely missing all of the things. I guess Scruffmograph, thank you so much for the follow. It's good to have you. What's up, Fart? Welcome to the channel. 48 Laws, welcome. Andre Gamers 98, welcome. And Inikiao, thank you so much. You get your shotgun brother, welcome to the channel. It's good to have you all here. Donate $100, I appreciate that. That's love. That's love right there. Super necessary. So everyone who also is new to the channel, man, that's love. I genuinely 100% thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, so I used to be a team lead. I used to be an engineering lead. I've since stepped out in October. I started my own company. I've been working on it for the past year and a half. This is Mastermind Academy, but I do run a company called Mastermind. This started before the company, and the company kind of built off of this. So I'm on my own now. So you know, every little bit helps. Every little bit helps a lot. You know, that's love. That's love. I seriously, Crimson. Thank you. One day my wife gonna come and thank you as well, because we, you know, super helpful. That really does help us out a lot. I do appreciate it. Isn't Kubernetes deprecating Docker? Yes. So that is true. Kubernetes is deprecating Docker, but that does not change the usefulness of Docker. Kubernetes just had Docker as a runtime. There's a lot of other stuff. Crimson, thank you so much. You know, it's never gonna get easy for me to accept the kindness from others like this. I do appreciate it. I really do. But yes, Kubernetes is deprecating Docker as a container engine. Not as big of a deal as you probably think it is, but yeah, it is for sure. Still, Docker's still a very useful thing to know. You're going to need to know it. It's still going to support. There's still going to be backwards compatibility for the Dockerfile paradigm, but yeah. Sorry. What's up, AI Luna? Good to see you. I missed your first message there. Welcome. Okay, so let's set up. Okay, so we need the instance ID. I'm going to make I'm just going to open up a new tab here, which makes sense. You need an instance ID to attach it to, and I'll go over to EC2 and make sure that we're attaching this to the right one, which is ends in 5E8. So I'm gonna attach it to the one that says 5E8, and I'm gonna click CPU utilization. You can actually click more than one metric for an alarm, but it gets kind of weird when you do that, or can get weird. We're gonna use one metric for now, and I'm going to select this metric, okay? And so CPU utilization, I can call it whatever I want. That is how much CPU is being utilized at a given time. We can use some different stuff. We can use, there's some other things that can go in here for the statistic. But I'm going to leave it on, I'm going to put it on 30 seconds. I'm going to put it on 1 minute. Okay. And so it's going to have a 1 minute threshold. And then we have threshold type. So static or anomaly detection. For now, we're just gonna leave it on static. This is going to be the way that you want to track whether or not it actually trips this alarm. Static threshold is simply going to use a static value. Anomaly detection is going to use a different set of data points over time, really, to allow this to happen. It's also going to it's going to compare this to other data points as well. So anomaly detection is going to pick out the spikes in comparison to everything else. So like, if you have a consistent amount of usage of your system, you can say, hey, please alert me when this is 10% over what is normally used. So static is going to be the one that we're going to use here because we don't have a good understanding of the way our system works yet. So you have some options here. Notify me when it's greater than equal to, lower than equal to. So you can use those for a number of different things. So we're gonna say, hey, whenever it's greater than, even just 50%, we'll say, let us know. That's probably not the best thing to do, but cool, we'll say 50. Then you can do data points. So you can say every 1 out of 1. So as soon as it responds once, as soon as it checks in a single time, being over that data point, it will alert us. It will give us an alarm. Maybe we want that, so maybe we don't. You could do 5 out of 10. Whatever you want to do, you can do that, and it has to hit that many. Data points before it will alert you. I'll leave that there. Missing data treatment. So this is what's going to happen if data is not coming through. And we'll leave it as that. There's a couple different options there you can take a look at. Some of these other options are new and helpful. To be honest, I wish I had known about some of these. They're not all new, but some of them are new. So the way that you get notified, again, SNS, we need to learn about. I can't wait till we're gonna learn a little bit about SNS. SNS is a really, really good service. It's a really cool service. But what it does is you create these things called topics. So you create SNS topics, and then things subscribe to them. So if I want to receive an email, I have to create an SNS topic that is set up to connect to the right service and configure to send out an email. But for an email to reach me, I must subscribe to that email. So it's pretty cool. Like MQTT, I'm not a little bit, actually a little bit. I don't think it's exactly like MQTT, but yes, that you can think about it. You can think about it like that. Something's wrong. Wow. I like stirring them hurts. It's weird. And so it's good because you can do you can notify yourself in a number of different ways. Whatever tool you use, text, email, Slack, Discord, whatever you use is super duper helpful. And it can send it out. There's a lot of integrations that you can make with this as well. So you create this topic and then you have something subscribed to it. So what I'm going to do is I don't have an existing topic. So we need to create a new one, create new topic, give it a name. I'm going to say, I'll leave it as that default CloudWatch alarms topic. You should probably make it something that you're going to remember and understand what it is when you go through. Email endpoints that will receive the notification. So here's where you put in your email that's going to receive this thing. And I'll put in academy at mastermind.io. And you create the topic. And this is nice because the creation of SNS topics and subscriptions by hand is a little bit more difficult to do. And this will create it automatically for you. And this is all you can do out of the box though. If you have to do extra configuration if you'd like to set it up for something else. Basically, if we wanted to use one of the other types of things that we could do, we basically create it ourselves and then input the topic on if we wanted to. And that's kind of how we handle that. But you create the topic and it's going to be good to go. So we can I'm going to right click this and I'm going to view an SNS console because I don't think I've subscribed to this. See, it's pending confirmation. So right now it actually won't send me an email until I go into my email address and I accept it, which I can go do. But once I do, I'll be subscribed to that topic. Everything will be good to go. Video lag. I don't think there's any performance problems. If you're talking about because you're seeing chat before, you're seeing chat pop up before you see it on your own end, that is because, well, that wouldn't be video lag, but that's because the chat that's getting fed into the screen is directly from Amazon's APIs and not through the other stuff. How do we follow along with the lab? Are you using pre-made instances? This isn't really a lab, but no, I created an instance at the very beginning of this. All I did was hop into EC2 and I started up a very fresh EC2 instance, nothing on it. Just I use Amazon Linux. You can use whatever you want, but we simply just started that up. We're not using Terraform. I only hopped into Terraform because I realized that all of the Terraform stuff that we did this week, it was still there, and I wanted to shut it down. I wanted to tear it all down, and now I'm going to tear down the last piece as well. because I don't want to spend that money. All right. Yes. Okay. So we got our alarm, our topics all set up. We're ready to go. Here are the other options. You can have it auto scale. So you can actually set up an auto scaling action right here. I generally wouldn't do this here. It seems weird. It seems, I actually think I think you should do something else personally. What I think you should do is, instead of having your auto scaling respond to an alarm, I think that your auto scaling should preempt the alarm but notify you of an event. Okay, so rather than adding something here to say, okay, you've hit this threshold, let's go ahead and scale up now, I would rather use the paradigms of auto scaling groups to be able to spin up beforehand and then notify me of an event, of a scaling event. But this is cool too, I guess. EC2 action, so you can also have it do some stuff like stop the instance or something like that if you want, or shut it down or something. If if something happens, you can do that as well. I also have not found a reason to use this either. I can get rebooting the instance. I definitely can get that for certain types of workloads and stuff. Could help. Maybe if you want to put in a patch fix for an application that has a memory leak that you're still trying to track down, maybe rebooting helps, for while you're trying to figure it out. Could be helpful. And then you can do some systems manager stuff. We're about to learn about systems manager, but that is there. So, actually, because of this, let me remove. All right. Give the alarm a name. I'm gonna call it cloud. Let's call this Horizons alarm. I don't need a description right now. And here it goes. So above 50%. So right now I'm gonna go into my email. I probably have all kinds of crap in here. Actually, I'll do it off screen. And then I'll just show you guys the email in a little bit. Let me go ahead and accept that really fast. Gmail. What? Oh, you know what? I don't think that's I'm not sure that's a real email. That might not be an alias for me. That might be the problem. Let's see. How do you get to your admin? Yeah. Well, I'll just put in my real email. Let me go back to the alarm or the SNS topic. Maybe I can go back to the SNS topic and change it. Subscriptions, pending confirmation. Let's go back here. Let's go ahead and create a sub. Protocol, email. I'll send it to my actual email, which you all are feel free to email me if you need to email me. Come on, hold on. Let's get back on it. The M's there. There we go. All right, better. Endpoint, I'll leave everything else here as well. Pending confirmation here. Let me go ahead and accept that. Got it. You have chosen this topic. Confirm it. Confirm. We are now confirmed here. If I go back to this topic, it will now show that this is now good to go. I'm confirmed. It will shoot me an email now. What's up, Sprabo 0. Welcome to the channel. How you doing? Satitis 2. Welcome to the channel. Sage Brown Butter, good to have you. Okay, so now we created that. We could now we can create a scenario in which we do get over 50% usage. All right, there's a number of different ways you can do it. You can create a, I could spin up a web server. You all could hit it. There are tools that could allow us to do this. I could fork bomb my system as well. I think I can also, let's see how I can create some load. So right now it's in an okay status. Okay. So right now it's good to go. We have one alarm set up and it is Okay, it had insufficient data at first, but now it has enough data to let us know that we're good to go. Let's go ahead and let's destroy this server. Um, what's the best way? Well, let me log into it first. So now we can just do an SSH from here. And what do we call this? Am I in the right place? Yeah, Academy. And we want to go, which operating system did we choose? Did we choose Amazon Linux? If we did, we need what? EC2-user. And let's grab the other thing. Crimson, are you, one, I'm just gonna keep thanking you. I'm gonna keep thanking you. Stop. First off, stop doing that. If you're really doing that, you gotta stop doing it. You gotta stop. The love's there. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. But if you're really doing it, you can't keep doing it. You can't. You just gotta stop. You've done too much. Okay, you've done too much. You can only be but so kind in a single day. Stop. All right. You just thank you. Okay. All right. So let me get logged in. Oh, port 22 refused. Oh, whoops. Let me see. Let's grab the IP address of the system that we're talking about here. What's up, Devno? Oh man, I just got super tired. Long these weeks are long. I will tell you guys one thing. What we're not gonna do anymore, ever, and we're never gonna do. You know, I actually really do like streaming on Fridays. I like streaming on Fridays a lot. We will not do a 1 day a week course on Friday anymore. We will never do a 1 day a week because they're too long on a Friday. I don't think anyone should sit around for this long, and I don't know how you all do it. You all are super tough, and you guys are dedicated, because I would be like, I'm out on a Friday. But for sure, you know, you learn some things. Somebody logged into this system. Cool. We're in here. How can you, oh man, plus. Let's clear it out. There we go. Let's get the CPU up to 50%. How are we gonna do this? I don't want to fork bomb it. Linux, what's bash? Infinite loop. I think you just like infinite loop something. Is there like a stress test service? No, I don't want to return a statement. What is it? Something like while true do something like this. What is stress test like a tool? Am I learning something new today? An app called Stress? You guys teach me something new every day. I love this. I love this. Never done that before. So I've used a lot of load testing tools. I've used a ton of load testing tools. I've never done this before though. This is great. How to impose, ooh, the stressing tool. Okay, let's do it. A workload, measure CPU memory. Okay. How to install it. I'm going to install stress. So this is an Amazon Linux system. Yum install. We'll try yum install. Not that. Yum search is gonna be trash for this. Stress is a test container daemon. Hey, stress. It didn't give me the exact thing. So I go over the stress ng. Well, so is stress there by default? Stress shouldn't be here by default. I gotta install it, right? Yeah, hold on. Let me see. What's the actual package name? Yum install stress. Oh, maybe I need to turn on the EPEL repository. Whack. This is trash. We should have just did Linux, but it's okay. Let's do it. You know, let's use the tool. I want to use the tool because I never heard of the tool before. There we go. It's already EPEL release is available. Okay, so there's Amazon Linux. See, this is why Amazon Linux is a little bit weird. And I only use it in, it's interesting because Amazon Linux is something that I only really use in production workflows, to be honest. Okay, so that should be there now. And let me grab stress back again. And we're good to go. All right, now how do I use it? You said just do stress dash ng, not m, n, fail, unrecognized option. First off, let me do stress. Is it supposed to be just like together? Stress. Okay, let's see. What do we have here for our options? Impose certain types of stress to compute. Have a fire. I will be all right. We'll survive it. We'll survive it. Okay, let's see. Verbose, great. The N is for drive run, what it would have done. The stress code is on the TechMint. All right, let me check that out. Let me go back to this. And sudo stress CPU 8. I'm with that. Okay. Ooh, that's good. It's good. So it'll stop after 20 seconds. I'm with that. And I can look at the uptime, sudo stress uptime, and look at the load average. That works. All right. I actually don't think, is uptime always given the load average in there? Your boy's just been, I'd never use uptime to find the load. Makes sense. I feel like that's a newer paradigm. I feel like uptime only used to give back this, but now it gives back the whole top line to top. That's helpful. You know, I guess maybe it just depends on your whatever shell you're using. All right, so here's the problem. We're gonna have to run this over at least a minute period, most likely, because we don't know when it's checking in for things. So I should probably just change the timeout to like 60. But we can go back to CloudWatch and we can start to look at our metrics here. We can go back in, we can go back to the metrics that we already have created, but this is still not alarming yet. But like I said, we should probably, because it's per minute, we probably should up it to 120 just to make sure. I didn't want to like break the whole thing. We'll run our uptime again. We can see that our load average certainly went way up. So I'm gonna do it again, and let's give it a 120. All right, let that run for a little bit. It's going to be pretty gross. We can also, in the meanwhile, create a dashboard. Let's call it like main dashboard or something. That might have just this stuff on here. We'll just do a line thing here on the metrics that we're taking in, and what do we call, first off, let's scroll this up. What do we call the EC2, for instance, for this one? We can stick this here if that is the proper, was this the right thing? The right EC2 instance? Let's check. We only have one, so it's got to be the right one. Cool. And we should start to get some stuff going on here. So yeah, shooting up. So actually, we may not. We're not even going to get over that 50%. So I wonder if I also have to increase the CPU thing as well. But it may not actually. It's spreading out. I'm assuming this is spreading out over 8 CPU cores. I probably only have 1 core, so it's probably not stressing it in the way that I want to stress it. Let me see if they give us any other options for this. But I'll give it I'll let it check in for another minute, and maybe we'll run it for 2 minutes to see how it differs. But let's go back and look at this one. To spawn 1 worker for Malik and free. Okay, that's for memory. We don't need that because memory isn't there. We can check IO as well. Okay, that could be helpful. VM bias. This is cool. I didn't realize I had all these options. I've actually never, as many times as we've done load testing, I've never used this, but I also think that has to do with a couple of different things. 120. So we upped it to 120, and it's done. It's not taking it over the 50% mark. And again, I think because that the core number that it's trying to take up, it's kind of like if you were trying to run. Oh, actually, it is an alarm now. Never mind. It did go over. It went over. So it's alarming. I wonder why it's not showing. Oh yeah, it did get up to 100%. Yeah, but what I was thinking, what I'm thinking, maybe just not enough data has come through for this yet. But I was wondering if it was going to hit it, because whenever applications like this usually get, whenever it says 8 CPUs, it's trying to hit 8 cores, 8 threads, whatever. It's doing some concurrency there. If you're only running one core, it may not effectively run the way that you want it to run. It still ends up running those things kind of in serial, which may not push it to the same extent that you wanted to push it to. But yeah, now we definitely hit it. So we did get an alarm for this. If I check my email, there we go. We get this AWS Horizons alarm, US East 1, Virginia, gives us some information about what is alerting us, when it happened, how it happened. Be very careful with this. Not very, very careful. Be considerate of everyone who's going to be receiving these. It says the 8 is the spot 8 work. Okay. So not 8 CPUs. Well, so sometimes when it's, I wonder how it works. I want to look into how it works. Usually when it's talking about workers, and especially with the CPU flag option, that it's usually talking about CPUs, but we'll see. I'll definitely take a look at it. It seems like a pretty cool tool. I think the interesting thing is that, like, now, I guess nowadays, for a vast majority of people, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I guess absolute system metrics, they mean something different nowadays. But yeah. Okay, but this is what the alarm looks like, and I received it via my email. Great, super easy. Alarms right there in the title. You want to take your time and you can filter it out so that you can have them all go to one directory or something like that. Super helpful, gives you a good amount of information. But again, think about the ways that you are going to utilize these alarms. Make sure you're setting your thresholds accordingly, so that you're not over alerting yourself, so that you run into that alert fatigue that you can get. So cool, that's CloudWatch. Simply, this is the same way that we were using Dynatrace that day. This is kind of giving you those features as well. You can watch what's going on. You can see what's going on the outside. Utilize that plus logging to figure out what's going on the inside. We can take a look at some of these actually, I have nothing here right now, so you can't look at any log groups here, but it's just logs. Definitely just logs. Ain't nothing else. All right. That is that. Let's move on now to the other two things. The other two things, we're not going to do a ton with Systems Manager, but I need you to know about it, and we'll go in and we'll look at it, but we're not going to set up a ton with this. The reason why we're not going to set up anything with Systems Manager tonight is because usually the amount of setup that you have to do with a service or an application to get Systems Manager to be able to do the things that it needs to do requires a fair amount of permissions, updates and changes. Not super important for you to know right now. Again, not for this apprentice level of AWS cloud computing with AWS. You only need to understand what it does for the exams if you're trying to take the exams right now. We will dive deeper into Systems Manager later. Also, Systems Manager is a little less, it's become a little less valuable over the past few months. Still very valuable, but it's become a little less valuable. So what is it? Actually, first, let me hit up MCDC. Welcome to the channel. Albuna, good to have you. Thank you so much for the follow. Hazigawa, welcome as well. Hey, Crimson, thank you so much for the follow. Cool. I think I got everyone there. Systems Manager. What in the world is Systems Manager? Well, Systems Manager allows you to manage your EC2 instances at scale. Okay. It has more in there than just this, but this is the main goal of Systems Manager. And it's designed to also give your applications, EC2 and other applications, other methods in which you can manage them. It's to help you manage your systems, but it was built upfront for EC2, but even though it has some other functionality in there, and we're gonna look at that. So as far as EC2 goes, the way that I want you to understand Systems Manager now is the same way that we talked about CloudWatch, is that it installs a daemon on EC2 instances. So whenever you create a new one, it'll install a little daemon here that EC2, that instance manager or systems manager can use to interface with, just like we're about to learn. So next week, we're going to learn about all these configuration management tools and things. We're going to be doing some stuff with specifically Ansible. Systems manager is kind of like that. It works. It's enabled in a similar fashion. The rest of it, not so much, but it's enabled in a similar fashion. But what you can do is you can run commands or scripts against all systems or just a subset of systems. So we talked about this being management of these systems at scale. So lots of systems. Let's say you had 100 EC2 instances, but let's say there was a critical security vulnerability that had been pushed out, a serious kernel vulnerability that needed to be immediately updated or patched. Systems Manager would allow you to initiate that update on every system all at once without having to log into each one or do anything crazy like tear them all down and spin them all back up. It would allow you to issue commands on everything, the entire fleet, or maybe you just want to hit, servers that are tagged as production or servers that are tagged as development or something like that. Yeah, it can help you do that. So run commands or scripts makes it super easy to hop into an EC2 instance and not even hop into it, but be able to just run these commands from these instances. And it can also run on-prem. Again, you just install a daemon. You have to configure it accordingly, but you can control your on-premises servers as well with Systems Manager. All right, one other big thing that you need to know about Systems Manager. What's the difference between run on scripts and run on prem? Wait, let me see. Was that a mistype? Run commands or scripts against all systems or subset. And you can also you can do all these things to on-prem systems. So it's just, all this means is that you can manage, so everything that you can do to systems inside of AWS, everything that you can do to these EC2 instances, you can do on your on-prem services. So those servers that you have on premises, the company's servers that they own, you can run these things on your own systems as well. Is there a systems manager that helps with monitoring too? I'm not sure I understand that question. What do you mean by system manager that helps with monitoring? Let's go into systems manager because it does have some other stuff besides that. So when you get in here, you can see some stuff. You can see run command. That's where you can initiate some of these commands and be able to just kick off a bash command on any system, bash scripts, whatever, on all the systems. Same thing for like patching manager. Session manager used to be more beneficial. This is one of the tools that has been a bit, well, maybe not. It's definitely not deprecated at all, but there's been some things to kind of eat this up a little bit in the past few months. But Sessions Manager allows you to be able to create secure sessions into systems. So one of the security things that you can do, especially if you're practicing infrastructure as code and you are provisioning, these things aren't long standing, you can actually disable access to your system completely. I've worked in environments where you could not log into a system. You just couldn't log into any EC2 instance. No one could. They weren't designed to be logged into. And what you would do is you would basically remove the key, lock down the port as well through the firewall. And if for some reason you needed to get in, you could set up a session manager where you could create a session where you could actually still interface with the system. It's pretty cool. It's actually, it's super helpful for security wise, where if you don't have access to this account or to, you will not be able to get into the system at all. It's really nice. There's a bit of setup that has to happen here. Again, a lot of it has to do with permissions. In Linux, permissions in AWS are They're annoying. One of the things that we're going to do next week is we're talking about security and compliance and stuff. We'll do our best to get through all the security and compliance tooling and stuff in about, hopefully in the first hour, we'll get through all of the good informational stuff. But we're going to spend a lot of time diving into, again, the rule of least privilege and understanding how IAM permissions work a little bit more in depth and how to implement them via JSON and through the builder. We definitely want to do that. Yeah, like a temporary shell session. Yeah, temporary privileged access to the system. Yep, that's essentially what it'll do. And so if you were denying access any other time, if you have access to your system, it just allows you to create a session that connects to it. So this used to be the main way to be able to, like, if you wanted to SSH into the system from the console, you couldn't just create a session to like manage your system. You'd have to SSH from your computer using your key, or there's really no other way to get logged into the system. Session Manager, if set up properly, can allow you to get directly into your system from your account rather than having to SSH with your keys. So that's pretty cool. The only other thing that I want you to know about right now, this Systems Manager has a bunch of extra stuff. All of it's cool, all of it's important, but the only other thing that you'll probably be asked about, and that is, I think, super applicable to right now, is Parameter Store. And this is a really good tool. And this is where you're going to start to get a little confused about some of Amazon services. There's a lot of overlap, but Parameter Store, it's for secrets and configuration data management. Okay. So all Parameter Store does is save keys and values. Okay. That's all it does. You know, you can say, so people use it for saving passwords, saving system data, saving environment variables and things like that. So you set up a key and a value, and then your AWS resources, they can pull this data from Parameter Store at runtime or at deployment time. That data can be pulled down to a system. You can retrieve this data through Amazon's API, okay? So it's a really good way to get keys and values. It's a really, really good way to, to handle your secrets. There's also something called Secrets Manager, which does the same thing, but does it in a different way. This Parameter Store is equally as secure. BSec, what's up, BSec? How you doing? Dev, no. The other thing that's replacing it, and again, only replacing it it's not replacing it. It does not do the exact same thing, but because of the Cloud Shell, and because of the access Cloud Shell gives you, it actually makes it a lot easier to be able to log into your systems as well. But yeah, Cloud Shell is the thing that takes up some of the functionality that it offers, but it's definitely not everything. Just hopping on see what's going on, BSec. Yep, we're just learning about a couple more AWS services. We're diving into Systems Manager right now. We're not going to dive too deep into this at all. We're talking about Parameter Store, but we're about to move on to Cloud Console and mess around a little bit. But then we'll, like I said, tonight is a pretty light night, so we'll have time to answer questions. So if you have any questions queued up, feel free to ask them, because we do have time to go through it tonight. We're not doing a bunch of stuff. So yeah, Parameter Store, really nice. Keys and values. You go in here, you can create a parameter, and I can give it a description, name, or path. It's weird because you got to give it like this little, you got to give it like an object path, which can be weird. But let's say I wanted to create something like password, like main, like site password. Site _password. Let's do that. Description, I'm not gonna do that. I'll leave it as standard. And so you can make it a different types of data. So I can put a string in here, a list of strings, a secure string. And so I could just put this is my password. Man, there we go. Well, there we go. There we go. We'll just leave, we're not even gonna go back. This is this is a good password right here, okay? It's a really good password. This is moo open bracket assword, okay? You can say assword because it's a real thing. All right, and then next we'll do that. That is my site password. So now I have a password set here that I can access via, the site password name. I can pull this down from the API. I can retrieve it and I can get the value of it, and I can use that to dynamically pull things at runtime. Works really well for Lambdas. It works really well for just about everything. To be able to set environment variables is super helpful. I agree. That is it's a very secure password. Okay, that's all it is. Secrets management. Like I said, there is another secrets manager tool. It handles them in a different way. It's actually harder to pull this stuff, but the value that you get from secrets manager is a lot more expensive. But the value that you get is that you get lifecycle management. So they put it right here. That's why they specifically had to put this in here, because people were like, why should I use this when it's so much more expensive? Look at this. It's almost 50 cents per secret per month. All right. Like, I mean, yeah, yes. 40 cents is not a ton, but when you have, systems with lots and lots of secret, when you have all kinds of different things you're managing, this can add up. 40 cents is a lot, and you got to pay per API call. If you're doing something like Lambda or something, could be, it could be very expensive to be able to retrieve those things. It's also, like I said, it's because of the way that these are handled, it's actually much more difficult to parse this data. When you do retrieve it at real time, you usually have to put in some extra code to be able to pull out and extract the information that you want specifically, which sucks. Oh, the lifecycle bit simply means, that's a great question. It simply means that you can put in password rotation policies and things. So, you might want to, if you want to keep yourself secure, maybe every 6 months or so, you should rotate your passwords and stuff, and you should change your passwords out. It gives you some tools to be able to more easily swap passwords out, and to be able to rotate them automatically, and to be able to handle what happens with them in case you need to deprecate them and things like that. It helps you with changing them out. Honestly, rotation is the biggest thing as a part of that lifecycle thing. Just changing the password easily. Maybe unrelated, but when developing, testing, and deploying in the cloud, what do you do to make sure all three environments are aligned, the same version setup to avoid issues during go live? The best way to handle that is to codify your infrastructure. So practicing infrastructure as code allows you to be able to ensure that you have versions that are set up consistently. Aside from doing that, it gets tough. It gets really difficult to do. The only other way to ensure that it's consistent is to have the deployment of all the resources as a part of the deploy process. And so, like, basically, so if you're not practicing infrastructure as code, that's going to be able to keep up changes and make it easy to deploy changes. The only other way to really be sure, unless someone's going through and manually auditing, is to make the infrastructure a part of the deployment, setting and deploying everything all at once. So, hey, we're not going to update this server with the new code. We are going to deploy a brand new server and stick this code on there. It may be the only other thing that you can do to be super confident in it. There are some other non-infrastructure as code things that you may want to look into as well. This one's AWS specific, but Elastic Beanstalk, I don't love it, but it provides some of that value as well, so that you can get consistent environments. Yeah, but infrastructure as code is the way to go. Make sure you're codifying your infrastructure using Terraform or CDK or something like that. It'll help a lot. And yeah, and then obviously, if you're codifying those things, sending it through a CI/CD process will help, because it's pretty easy to forget to deploy updated infrastructure. You want to make sure you're promoting your infrastructure the same way that you're promoting your code, and putting it through that same kind of process is super helpful. Using SSM parameters as opposed to something like Terraform outputs allows for improved cross-tool integration for things like Ansible, AWS CLI, GitHub Actions, Prometheus, etc. That is 100% true. That is 100% true. If you're using something like Terraform outputs, that's keeping that data directly inside of your Terraform, your Terraform state and everything, and you've got to handle that in a completely different way. But 100%. So glad you said that, deploy it all at once, not just deploy it all. I'm a huge as someone where infrastructure is my background, that's the thing that I care about the most. Now that we can interact with infrastructure the same way as code, like infrastructure can be so finicky when you have to manually, when you're manually figuring out, oh, what, you know, does this, have we, like even things as simple as I've had deployments go completely wrong, like completely wrong, simply because, and have us have trouble figuring out what went wrong, simply because there were environment variables that needed to be on the systems that were added that weren't included in the process. And like we deployed stuff and everything broke for hours. And we're trying to figure it out because we simply didn't have environment variables set up on those systems. And it was like, thinking back to those times, it's like, man, systems administration was so archaic before you could codify things. Like we were just shooting in the dark. We were just, you know, might be here, might not. Who knows? Who knows what we're gonna get when we move? You know, that's super weird, for sure. But you know, it's definitely changed the way that I like to do things, for sure. Like deploy it all at once. I don't like to reuse systems. I don't like to have long-lived systems. I told y'all before that if I'm building a greenfield project, I will do everything in my power to use serverless functions if possible, as much of it will be serverless as possible. Should the budget be able to support it? You know, because money does go into all that as well. But nah, I all at once for sure. VX, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for the follow. Bad time. Good to have you. Or some stupid update that was not added to the old system, but is in test. Yeah, 100%. And so let's also be clear, the infrastructure as code will not completely solve that problem. That's why I'm also really glad that BSEC brought up the CI/CD portion, because even if you're doing infrastructure as code and you're manually deploying this stuff out to these environments, you can still forget to put stuff places and cause issues. Now, the one benefit is usually when that happens, even if you are manually deploying, it's pretty easy to go make those updates and to be sure of them. But I still say all of it, pipeline, all of it. You know, go through the sucky process of setting the pipeline up once, or like getting it going. It's only tough one time, and then you have to add to it over time. But like, you know, I set up the pipeline. Seriously, set up the pipeline. Infrastructure. So I will say infrastructure pipelines don't always align. They may not always be able to align with the application pipeline, okay? And that depends on how you all are managing your projects. Learn with Leon, welcome. Come on in, get comfortable. We're just doing a little bit of AWS today. It's good to see you. I hope you had a great stream. I wonder what you all were learning today. I'm scrolling back up because I'm trying not to miss some of the questions that were asked, but welcome. It's good to see you. If anyone on the channel who is not familiar with Learn with Leon does some amazing teaching and boot camps as well. Mostly around, at least what I've seen so far, correct me if I'm wrong, Leon, but mostly around software, but specifically web development. I see you do a lot of JavaScript, a lot of cool stuff over there surrounding the web development space. Definitely give Learn with Leon a follow. Seriously, really good stuff going on over there. I really need to sit down. And so Leon and my wife are about to have a baby, and I'll have a little bit more downtime than I usually have. And I do actually plan on sitting in and learning some web dev stuff, because your boy is one of the weakest web devs out here. You know, we'll get it done, but I'll have 37 lines of CSS to make sure my image is centered, and it just is what it is, you know? Make it work, okay? Then make it right, then make it fast. Good to see you. Welcome all the Raiders. Good to have you. Welcome. Full stack JavaScript, dope. You know, all right, I you know, see, I'm there on the, from the back half, the infrastructure, to the back half of the stack, to the middle of the stack, to the first 3/4, give me 1/3 of the front end. I'm good. Okay. I need to get all the way to the front though. I need that last 2/3 to the front is what I'm trash at. Super trash at. I also have 37 lines to center. Yeah. Good. That makes me feel a lot better, but thank you. I appreciate that. $10,000 donations if you name the baby Mastermind Junior Brooks. I'll run it by the wife. I'll run it by her, Sin City. I will run it by her, okay? Don't, you know, we'll put it down. I'll bring it through. I'll do it. Thank you so much for the sub, Learn with Leon. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. That's love. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Congratulations to yourself on partner as well. Pretty dope. This is a good year. 2021, solid year. It started out. It's not going amazingly better than 2020 yet, but at least we got something to look up to a little bit. Indifferent Ghost, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much for the support. With the baby coming, we definitely need that here. Thank you so much for the war on advertisements. That's what we wage over here on this channel. I appreciate that, Indifferent Ghost. So much love. All right. Stop being indifferent. Yeah, so everyone who just joined, we are doing the boot camp that we're currently in is called Horizons, and it's once a week right now, but it is cloud computing with AWS. And tonight we were learning about some of the things that could help us manage and understand what was going on with some of our systems. We dove into Cloud Watch and talked about some of the things that we could do there. Now we're just discussing some things about Secrets Manager, and we're about to talk about and play around with Cloud Console. But tonight's pretty chill. Tonight's not a ton of crazy stuff. Thanks so much for having the hype train going. Thank you everyone who's following. I can't really keep up because yeah, this is pretty wild. A perfect day. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Everyone who received a gifted sub, please thank your gifter again. We're waging the war on advertisements. And let me be clear, if there's anybody out there who would love to advertise to the channel, we're waging war against advertisements that Twitch makes you sit through. We would happily stand up here and act out your ad here. If you want to pass us a little bit of cash, we can do that for you, okay? We can put on the movie voice and say, this product, get ready, is the best product ever. We'll do that for you, okay? And that we'll do that. So I want to make sure I'm clear about that in case anybody does want to advertise on the stream, But I appreciate it. A perfect day. Thank you so much for the love and support. I appreciate it. Advertisements are the worst. So my thing is, my morals, I hate ads. And so what I started to do is, I was like, people still have to make money. People have to survive out here. So I turned off all my ad blockers are off. I used to use them. I leave them on now. I turned that off. The ads play. Any service that I utilize that I can support on, the tech industry has been really good to me. And so I made sure I support. I pay for 2 YouTube premium accounts. I need to delete one, but I pay for 2 YouTube premiums, Spotify. I pay for the things because I can. Now, I will be clear. Your boy was known to be a little bit of a pirate back in the day and an ad block fiend. So I understand it. I get it. But I've been trying to be better. Okay. But advertisements they're overwhelming, man. They really are overwhelming. And then the Twitch ones, they started giving me 2 now. Like if I hit a channel, they'll give me 2 ads in a row, 2 unskippable ads in a row. It's wild. Definitely wild. Let's see. Paying forward. All right, cool. Let's finish up here. We're just talking about Secrets Manager and how you could the difference between Secrets Manager and AWS parameter store. Because that's what we were in for, which is in Systems Manager. I know there's a bunch of different terms here. Your brain gets a little bit crazy. What's up, Amame? How you doing? And we're just talking about the parameter store here that you could use to have a key value store to be able to manage your secrets and to be able to get things at runtime. All right, that's it. Oh, you got one? Amame, you caught one. Congratulations. That was a thing here. Amame was really missing, was seriously missing the gifted subs. And people were trying to hit him with it. Like they were trying to hit you with it. This is a proud day. I'm very happy for you. I really am. All right, so that's Systems Manager. The main thing I want you to know about this is that it's for managing systems at scale, mostly EC2. There's a lot of other things in there that are super helpful, but it was designed originally to manage fleets of EC2 instances at scale, and you can run commands against all of them all at once. Super helpful. Again, it adds in a lot of the functionality that you would get from a configuration management tool like Chef or Puppet. Or Ansible. Another little note in here. We are going to dive into Ansible all next week in pipelines, but AWS does incorporate something called OpsWorks. It does incorporate Chef into into what they do there as well. It's weird because they don't push it as much as I feel like they should be pushing it, but it is pretty dope. Amame, thank you so much for paying it forward. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you all. Seriously, I really do genuinely. I don't take it for granted when you all support this channel. I really do use this to ensure that we can do some bigger and better things to be able to extend access to tech as far as we can. I really do appreciate it. It's going to go a long way. We're doing this together. You all are making this an amazing community, and I really do genuinely appreciate it. Logical, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's do this. The last piece that we're going to talk about tonight, and then we'll open it up to whatever questions people want to ask. We can talk about whatever after this. Like I say, we usually go till 9 on Fridays. The amount of content tonight was just, the topics are just smaller this evening. But the cloud console, this is something that's new. And this is another way that we can manage our stuff, what is so helpful about cloud console is it provides 3 different things. First, what is it? It's a browser-based command line interface for managing AWS resources, okay? So it's really for interacting with AWS. It comes pre-installed with common tools and technologies. We'll talk about what those are. And it supports more shells than just Bash. This is something that I only learned recently. So this is not something that is yet on any of the exams. This was just announced at reInvent 2020. So back at the end of the year in December, it was announced there. But what it is it's an integrated console into right into the Amazon interface that you can use to interact with the AWS CLI, to be able to interact with the API, to be able to do the things that you want to do. Why is this valuable? Because to do this beforehand, you would need to have a good understanding of, one, you'd have to get the AWS CLI installed on your own computer. You got to get all set up. And it used to be a hassle with Python, the way it used to be set up, but now it's packaged up in a better way. But what I think this does is, one, it gives people who are new to AWS, who are new to all this stuff, an easy way to get up and running, to be able to interact in every single way with Amazon. Super, super duper helpful. I think that's gonna be a game changer, to be honest. AWS does have something else. They bought Cloud9, which is an online IDE, so text editing, integrated development environment. They bought them years ago, and it does have this IDE there. So what people used to do to have one place to go if they wanted to log into Amazon and access their stuff programmatically, they have to set up a Cloud9 instance, and then you still have to configure and set up your CLI to be able to work properly. This gives you your console fully set up out of the box, okay? Very, very helpful. And so all we can do, we can hop straight in there. One thing I did learn earlier was that when I say supports more than just Bash, did you all know, I did not know this, did you all know that PowerShell was open source? Was an open source shell that works on Linux and Mac. I had zero idea, and it's been that way since it came out. I had absolutely no idea, and so that's very intriguing, because I know I have been introduced to some of the power that PowerShell does offer. Yes, PowerShell does in fact work on Linux. Amame, just overwhelmed. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously. But yes, totally new to you. Yeah. Okay. As someone who has been big into Linux, big in a lot of these things for so long, yes, check this out. Okay. It's not some special off-brand PowerShell. PowerShell is simply a shell. It's simply a shell. That's all it is. PowerShell for every system. It's literally a part of their GitHub thing. And again, it has been this way since for the past 4 or 5 years. Never knew that. So Hype Train level 5, man, I love y'all, man. I really do love y'all. Y'all did it. Y'all made it my Friday. Like I said, I was a little bit tired. I had a lot of work to do. I'm still gonna go do some work tonight. A little bit tired today. And y'all just came in and really made my week amazing. We're preparing for the little one. A lot going on. I got a lot work-wise. I got a lot, home life-wise. Just trying to make sure everything's good to go. And you all are really coming in, really helping me out. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And hopefully now this means we can do some cool PowerShell stuff. What's up, Anna Codes? If y'all, I hope you're doing well today, Anna Codes. What's up? With recent updates, they've moved to the same train as .NET and .NET Core, integrating with both. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I really thought I don't know what I thought PowerShell was at first. I think I've always known what it was. But ultimately, PowerShell is really just it's an object oriented shell. It's pretty interesting, and I really want to see now that I am a both Windows user and a Linux user, and probably going to be soon to be a Mac user as well, like because I'm probably going to use all three platforms. I wonder if there's some compatibility that I can do to create create cross platform scripts and things to do some automation, no matter what system I'm on, and add in some handling and stuff. It seems pretty interesting. It's pretty dope. I've been using PowerShell natively from the Linux command line for years. That's dope. Pretty essential in pen testing. I had no idea, and now I'm mad that Microsoft has done such a bad job at touting this. They've been doing a lot of, they've been embracing open source. Like I agree, but I think it's pretty interesting that I've stayed away from PowerShell more than I should have, not knowing that it was more applicable. I was like, I'm never really going to do a lot of Windows automation, to be honest. So I'm going to stay away from it, even though I've seen some examples of some of the powerful things that it can do. But it's pretty cool. But you can install PowerShell in your cloud console. You can do a bunch of different stuff. So all you got to do now to get in the cloud console, I hate CLI with a passion. Do you hate, Amama, do you hate all CLI, all command line interfaces, or do you only hate Amazon's, a CLI? All of them? Oh, I mean, I'm telling you, once you get comfortable with it, once you spend some time and get the muscle memory down, it's the place to be. I probably do 60% of the things that I need to do per day inside of the terminal. I'm not joking. Probably about 60% of the stuff that I need to do. It's phenomenal. I mean, I'll probably cut that down since now I'm bad at typing again. I'm even worse at typing. I don't know if you were here, Sully, in the beginning, but I built my new keyboard and it has smaller keycaps than my other one, and so my typing's all the way thrown off, and I can't see the letters. I can't see the letters in the dark. So like now I'm, I can't see it. So even if I look down, I've been struggling today typing even more than ever. But this is gonna be a good catalyst to get me there. All right. Actually did npm uninstall on my root the other day, so I hate the command line too. But if you do an npm uninstall, can't you just? You should just be able to do an npm install again. My keyboard has blank keycaps on the front. Maybe I'll get blank keycaps, but I have to wait a little while longer. I gotta get, I'm still working on it. Gotta get that muscle memory down. It will force me though. It definitely will force me. All right, so Cloud Shell. It's got some pre-installed tools, so it comes with the AWS CLI, which I think is super valuable. Python, Node.js. What this is gonna do, so what's good about this is one of the things that I wanted to do was to make the cloud, so make Horizons. I wanted to make it two separate paths, okay? I wanted to do, we're trying to figure out if we're gonna make this level 2 or not. One of the paths is going to be learning cloud computing. So understanding these different services, understanding what these what these platforms do, what they can do, understanding the caveats, learning what you would learn if you were trying to take an exam. But we wanted I think we're going to make another one where it's specifically around cloud engineering and like really learning, like where people are like, instead of, yes, I have an understanding of what what a lot of these things are already, but I want to learn how to hands-on build with these things, not necessarily click around, but like how do we start automating inside of these things. And that's kind of what Pipelines is. But Pipelines is more about the culture of DevOps and site reliability engineering and the things that you do, rather than the hands-on building of these things. We're trying to figure out how to make that work better, because one of the problems is we only have a little bit of time per night, and it's like, okay, how do we both learn about the thing and like build something cool with it? Do we just extend how long all the courses are? Like, we're trying to figure it out. We'll let you know pretty soon. Much love from the UK. I appreciate that, Pat. You know, that's love. You know, much love right back at you from the East Coast. You know, over here in Baltimore where it is pretty darn cold and it keeps snowing 100%. You learned a lot today. Dope. I love it. I've been learning to touch type for the past few months. It's a struggle. And coach, we are on the same boats. You know, my problem was, so the thing that I did, one of the things that was slowing me down was I had one keyboard with a unique layout that I had gotten pretty good at typing on. But the problem is I do work off of 3 different computers at a time. I work from here, I work from my office, and I work from my laptop. And so I was having trouble moving in between them all. And so I ordered all the parts to build another keyboard that matched that one. I really like the layout of that. It's exactly the same. The problem is the keycaps are smaller. The tops of the keycaps are a little bit smaller, so my accuracy has been off. I just built it today, so you know I'll learn. But I really want to get good. I really want to get good. You know, ASDF, NVM, Ruby build, what's up, Jackie? Good to see you. Really good to see you. All right, so we're gonna spin this up. It takes a little while to spin up the Cloud Shell. I think I already had one, but you can go in, you can spin one up. There is a free tier for this. I forgot where the pricing comes in at. What's good about this shell is it also gives you some persistent storage as well. So you can actually use this as a development environment for AWS. You can use this as an AWS dev environment, but it does give you access to the AWS CLI right up front. I know this is kind of small. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I can't. That's savage. Hold on. How can I? Oh, it's got some settings over here. Can you store scripts in this? Yeah. You have about, I think you get a gig. I think you get a whole gig of persistent storage for free. Yeah. Terminal font size, I put it on medium so we can see it a little bit better. Yeah, and so you can store stuff, I think, right in wherever we are now in your home directory. So yes, you can store scripts here, and you have full access without having to do a bunch of extra stuff. You have full access to your AWS command line. You can see everything that you have here. You can spin up EC2 instances. So right now, if we do AWS EC2, EC2, what is it? Describe dash instances. We're getting there. You know, that was better than I expected. I can see the information about the instance that we currently have, that one instance that we have. And, you know, we can see all that data right here. I wonder if I can, so I have no idea what this is running on. I have no idea what, it's probably, I'm assuming it's running on Amazon Linux. How can we check? We can cat/Etsy issue. We can also cat Etsy, no, Red Hat release, or we can do a uname dash, was it R? Yeah, so this is gonna be Amazon Linux here that it's running off of, which means I think we could use Yum. Could this replace Terraform? So what you could do is run Terraform from here. Without having to do any extra stuff, you could run Terraform from here. It wouldn't replace Terraform. It just gives you a way to interact. So you can, everything that we're doing here, you could set up your own computer to be able to interact with the AWS CLI, but you know, you need your you know, your secret key and your access key, and you got to have the stuff installed. Oh yeah, SB release. I never use SB release. I don't know why. I never think to use it at all. I usually hit sorry, not SB release, LSB release. Is it just I wonder if that only works on because of the way this is set up. I don't know. I never use it. I always so the way I usually check it is for a server, you're only gonna run 90% of the time, you're only gonna run into 2 options: a Red Hat based system or a Debian based system. And Etsy issue on a Debian based system will give you the Debian version. Catting the Red Hat release, Etsy Red Hat release will give you any other version. This is interesting because this is a Red Hat based distribution and it doesn't give us that. Are available, distribute Ubuntu. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even have that available to me. Maybe that's why I never do it. Don't even have it. About to go full Linux full time. Yeah, hey, I mean, I'm with it. So if I decide, I'm still trying to figure out if I want to commit to it or not. If I decide to learn DaVinci Resolve rather than Adobe Premiere, I might go Linux full time again. I'm considering it. I'm considering all my options. I still want to be able to play games, but I figure I figure I'm not gonna have a lot of time to play a bunch of games for a long time. Like run the business, having a new baby. Like I feel like I should just give up for a little while and maybe just get like a Switch and just play some Pokemon. You know, I'm cool with that. Pick up 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, play some games. In that case, I could. Yeah, and you can play most games on Linux, except the one game that I want to play the most, which is Overwatch, does not run well. I tried to do Proton or whatever, didn't really work all that well. Switch is godsend for parents. Yeah, some other people have told me that too. I used to have a Switch. I gave it to my nieces. I gave it to my nieces and nephew because I just wasn't playing it as much as I wanted to. But that's because I had gotten deeper into PC gaming, and now that's not really an option. I haven't really played games all year, like literally for the entire year. So I definitely might pick up another Switch to just have something to play some cool stuff. I'm a huge fan of all Mario, Zelda, all that stuff. I love the games that are on Switch. A little guilty pleasure of mine is it's not really guilty pleasure, but I really want to play Luigi's Mansion 3 really bad, really bad. But I didn't want to buy another Switch for it. Like that's the game I'm like looking forward to the most. I don't know why I like Luigi's Mansion so much. The new Mario Switch came out. I didn't know that. I'll check that out. I love Super Mario Odyssey. It was phenomenal. It really was amazing. Never tried Overwatch through Proton. So, sorry, not Proton, Lutris. When I installed it through Lutris, yeah, I forgot that's a new tool. I installed it through Lutris. The problem was it ran well. Like it looked like it was running well, but for some reason it wouldn't display the top like 25% of the screen. It was just black, like it was like a black bar at the top, and everything else it looked like it was running pretty good at the time. Is what it is. Luigi's Mansion is the perfect game. Yeah, I got to do it now. I got to do it, especially since you can't get a PlayStation, even though I don't really want a PlayStation. I just wanted to, I hopped into the queue earlier today. Waste of time. I don't even know why I did that. So we'll see. Okay. So we're in the shell. Remember, what's nice about this is it gives you some stuff out of the box as well. It gives you some good things that you can engineer with in the cloud. Like it gives you Python right out of the box. We can jump right into the Python interpreter. What version do we have? Ew. It should give us Python 3, right? Okay, so you get both versions of Python here. If you want it, you can jump right into that. I think you have Node on here as well. If you want to drop into the Node interpreter, cool. And it's the LTS version of Node. That's super helpful. And it has some other stuff in here as well. So we're ready to kind of go right here, right now. That's pretty cool. So I'm sure you can install whatever you wanted on there. Let me try to do something like let me get like JQ on here. All right, and then if we run our describe command again, what? And we pipe it to JQ. Do we still get all of our stuff that we need? Yeah, we can install everything that we need. This is pretty helpful. I guess you do have to be careful about the storage though, and the amount of storage that you have on here, but yeah. I've been reading the Linux Bible 10th edition and some of the things starting to click. That's dope. First off, I'm really glad to hear that you and Sully are, making that work. Linux Bible, like I said, I've dove into it a little bit. I want to dive deeper into it because I have some Linux stuff that I want to get a little bit better at. I know a good amount about Linux, but it's interesting. It's crazy how much you do lose. When you don't use it, you lose it, because nowadays, at least the past few roles that I've been in, I haven't been ones where we're in systems. We are developing lots of infrastructure, but we are doing it. We're codifying it. We're not logging in doing much. So the only Linux that you're doing is really on your own computer and doing some automation on your own computer and managing the tools that exist on your computer. But we don't really ever logging into anything. And I've been surprised at how bad I am at some things I used to be really amazing at. And I really want to, I want to fix that for sure. Where the Overwatch won't run. It might have just been my computer. No trouble getting World of Warcraft. All right, I'll check it out. It was not on my Pop OS computer, so maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why. Blizzard devs actually test their games on Linux. Dope. You know, I've heard good things. I've heard Lutris works for most people. And again, I only play a couple games. The one game also that would hurt a little bit is Valorant. I do like Valorant. I'm not good at Valorant, but I do enjoy Valorant. And I think because of their anti-cheat or whatever, like, I don't know if it will work, but we see. They made a cloud containerization of a huge part. Oh, dope. That's great, actually, that they made cloud and containerization a big part of it. That's really nice. Coming from Leon's full stack bootcamp, AWS looks cool, but it's all Greek to me. Where do I start? Great question, AP external student. So AWS is simply a cloud platform. There are a number of cloud platforms. If you do want to get started with a cloud platform, it doesn't have to be AWS, but if you'd like to get started with AWS, this bootcamp, this is part 6 of an 8-part introductory session. If you hit exclamation point YouTube, there is all of the videos are on there starting from the very beginning. This was designed to kind of just get people into it who have never touched this stuff before. And so you can go back and you can watch those. AWS also has some good introductory things. If you're serious about getting into the cloud, if you're like, hey, I definitely want to start learning this thing, and maybe you don't want to learn AWS, maybe you want to learn Azure or Google Cloud Platform, you know, until I find something better, I will always recommend hopping into a Cloud Guru if you're willing to spend a little bit of money. I think it's about $29 a month. Highly recommended. I keep a subscription for that as well. But yeah, AWS is similar to Azure. They are both cloud service providers. So again, all the cloud is people say it's someone else's computer, and that's what it is, but it's basically a system where you can rent a cloud resource. You can rent computing resources. So if I need to process some things, if I want to rent a server, if I want to rent some hard drive space, if I want to utilize some of the computing resources that these companies have, I can pay and they give me access to them. It's on demand access to these computing resources. Azure, very similar to AWS. If you learn one cloud provider, it doesn't mean you will be able to easily move over to another, but you'll have all the understanding that you need, and then you'll have to learn how they have created the same kind of paradigms on their end. But yeah, you know, I recommend that nowadays, even developers, so all the people who are coming over who are learning some full stack stuff, I think it's actually going to be very difficult for you to do your job as a full stack engineer without understanding the way in which your application is going to, I want to say be hosted, but it's going to run. Nowadays, the architecture of your application and the way, because of the cloud, it's much more intertwined. The way that what it runs on is much more intertwined with the way that it's built nowadays. They go hand in hand. I actually had a lot of trouble with this when talking to someone, because they were trying to differentiate the hosting of the application from the architecture of the application. And I was like, I hear you. I definitely understand that, but because of the way things are built now, you know, we're talking about distributed systems, microservices, things like that. The way that you're going to break it down, the services that you're going to use to host this and to serve this thing up are now a part. To me, they are a part of the design of the application, and so it gets tough to decouple them, I think. But yeah. What's your main job? Do I work as a cloud guy? Yeah, so I'm a DevOps engineer, infrastructure, automation, but with software, I write software, you know, doing things with code is the goal. But yeah, running things at scale, kind of understanding how to serve applications at scale is what I did. Now I own my own business that is all about engineering advocacy, actually. So, you know, this is a part of it, but I'm on my own now. I have been since October, and I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. A little bit scary, definitely scary, but can't lie to you. Sometimes when you just need to, you know, midday, when you just need to, like, man, look, I can't deal with any of this BS right now. You can just not deal with the BS for just a little while, okay? I can make my hours a little bit super helpful. It does suck because everything you do matters. Like, it's like I can't just push off some things till tomorrow, and if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. But yeah, that's my background is in infrastructure though, cloud, DevOps, engineering. I've led application teams, so I understand. I've built application. I am not a good web developer, but I've built many web applications. I've been a part of building many web applications. I'm not a good web developer though, at all. I know patterns. I'm good at problem solving. There we go. Started my first business at 19. I was scared shitless. Yeah, I mean, it got bigger and bigger. It's natural. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm not someone. I'm good under pressure. That's what worries me a little bit though. I'm best under pressure. So I'm in a good place right now. I'm trying to make sure that I can keep my momentum going. I'm doing the things that I need to do. I'm not like, I feel like my business will thrive during times when I'm like, oh no, like I gotta make stuff happen. It sucks not having that urgency sometimes. It sucks that I usually do best when I'm under the most pressure. But I'm not under a lot of pressure right now, which is good. Really good. Struggle with understanding what is DevOps exactly. So Digital Fendi, we do run a course called Pipelines, which is on Mondays and Wednesdays. There's also, if you go to YouTube, there's also a playlist for that as well. But what DevOps really is design. It's a professional and it's a professional movement. It's not a technical thing. It's not a what you do, but it's kind of how you do it. It's a way of helping organizations be able to build things faster. It's an organizational professional movement that changes the way that we deliver software, the way that we think about delivering software. So people say what you normally want to do is cut down the proverbial wall. You want to remove the silos. So normally you'd have this adversarial relationship between developers, the people who are writing the code, and the people who are serving the code. So those systems administrators, whoever's dealing with the systems. Why is there an adversarial relationship? Well, because the job of the developers is to build new features and to make the application better. But the job of the systems administrators, people managing the systems, is stability. It's to make sure that things are running and that they're stable and they're comfortable. Those two things are generally at odds, okay? If you want something to be stable, you don't change it a lot. And the people over here are like, hey, we need to change this stuff. People over here are like, nah, I don't know. And so basically the software will get done, it will get tossed over this proverbial wall to the people who had to, host it. And if it worked, great. If it didn't, they toss it back over the wall. Wasn't a lot of communication. DevOps is designed to create some shared understanding in that process, to cut down those, to remove those silos, cut down that wall in between, and help people understand the process to get basically development and operations working together, working more in tandem, understanding what's going on. It's not necessarily combining the two. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, combining the two. Not necessarily combining the two. It's bringing in more understanding, getting everyone involved in the process, creating more communication around it. There's some pillars to it and some things that you can practice to get there. If you go to roadmap.sh, it'll provide you. You can see a little roadmap to the different skills that you would need for DevOps, and those skills help enable the kind of pipelining for DevOps to kind of make this iterative feedback cycle. But yeah, we did, I would go back, I would go watch the very first stream from the pipelines course, and we cover that in detail. What's up, Smack Like That? Good to see you. Dope, I appreciate that. All the Clubhouse people coming through, definitely Smack Like That. Whenever I usually follow everybody that's in there. So hopefully if I see you, I'll give you a follow right now. But let me know if I'm in one of the chat rooms and you see me. Come say what's up. I'd love to know who you are. I'm a production incidents response manager, basically with several different hats. I was tasked with helping further automate our disaster recovery process. Anyone who doesn't know, DR stands for disaster recovery. Got to learn Ansible, but maybe it'll be good to learn all the cloud things too. What do you think? Great question. So next week we are actually doing Ansible all week. Well, all week, 2 days, Monday and Wednesday of next week. We're going to be learning about configuration management with Ansible specifically, but we're going to be learning a little bit more about what that means. Yes. So If your job is disaster recovery, I highly recommend, if that's part of your job, I highly recommend you picking up a cloud provider and understanding rapid provisioning. Last week, we spent time learning Terraform and understanding infrastructure as code. For disaster recovery, being able to respond, having your infrastructure be able to respond to disasters, getting back up and running, the cloud is what you want. Maybe you don't want to run your main workflow in the cloud, maybe it's on-prem or whatever. It will be very helpful for you to at least have a general understanding of the services and things that the cloud can provide. I 100% think you should dive into that, especially as an incident response manager. It will help a lot. You can build a lot of cool things to recover very quickly from disasters. There's a lot of redundancy you can create for yourself to make it easy to happen automatically as well. But yeah, Ansible's a really good tool to being able to do that as well. And the QA team, everyone hates them. All right. We should talk deeper about QA specifically. There's a reason why. So software testing and QA are two different things. A lot of the times QA teams are put in place to simply be the last gate before something goes to production. And my issue is that at a lot of places it's handled as a formality, and the people put in place for QA, I think it's one of the most important pieces of the industry that has been the most underutilized. Maybe that's how I want to say it. And a lot of people are there. When I worked at ZeniMax Media, you have your game QA testers who need to go in and play the game. Great. But the software QA testers were literally waiting for the code, clicking on a bunch of buttons, seeing if it worked, and then being like, yes or no. That is not software testing. And it does create an adverse relationship because one, the only time you're usually talking for a lot of places that have QA teams, the only time you're talking is to pass off work or for them to come back to you and tell you that it's wrong and that you need to fix it. And that, again, if the only time you're interacting is so that they can tell you that what you did is bad, everyone hates QA for that. You don't want to be I would hate to hear from you if every time we spoke, it was because I had made a mistake or so you found something wrong with the work that I did. A lot of times people don't integrate QA with the whole team. QA should be at it from the very beginning. As soon as a feature is being thought about, as soon as these things are being put on paper, you should already be going through the process of okay, let's think about some edge cases here. Let's make sure we have test cases already set up so the developer can have something to start to build off of. These are the things I'm thinking about. These are the things I want to check. This is the way that I'm going to look through this thing. What kind of automated tests are we going to include in this? There's so many different pieces to the QA process. QA gets a bad name. It gets a really bad name. It does. I love QA though. My Clubhouse user, I think it's just Mastermind or Mastermind IO. It's just Mastermind. So Mastermind with no I. That's what it is. Ansible's covered in the newest Linux Bible. I love that. So who writes the Linux Bible? Is that, how did Red Hat get that in there? That's dope. I like that. Honestly, why is config management used with tools like Ansible since you can use remote exec on Terraform or run Docker containers which take care of dependencies? Good question as well. So the problem is things like Docker do not have the things in place. Even the remote exec on Terraform, they don't have the things in place to be able to, they have the ability to set things up once. They have the ability to execute a command. Configuration management tools have a lot more power than that. They not only run the command, they also are able to do logical things if things have changed. They also ensure things are still working. They can right the wrongs, whereas those exact commands can't necessarily do that. And yes, Docker, you can use these configuration management tools to deploy Docker. Yes, that can work. I think the container paradigm does solve a number of those things. Like I said, y'all know my stance on this. I don't like runtime configuration at all. I would prefer not to use a tool like Ansible or Chef or Puppet. I would prefer to do it up front at build time. I would prefer to build a golden image, everything that I needed using Packer or something like that, right up front. But yeah, configuration management tools definitely have. They also implement some logic, a lot more logic than something like the exec on Terraform would implement out of the box without you having to do it yourself. What's the easiest way to get in the technology field? I like having different backgrounds of knowledge. Easiest way is to, okay, so to get in, if by get in you mean get a job, the easiest way is to, I think the easiest way is to pick a broadly accessible topic that's incredibly marketable. So that's right now. I think cloud is one of those things. I think cloud is a really big one because there's a lot of roles that you can get with cloud knowledge for the tech industry. I think learning some of the basics as well, something like Linux or something that might help. I think the best way to get in, like practically, is to immerse yourself in whatever you decide to do. It's really to immerse yourself, to hear people talk about it, even if you're lost at all times. While you're lost, you are picking up information. When you're confused, when you're hearing me say the words I'm saying right now, if you're like, I have no idea what these people are talking about, you're picking up good information. You may not realize it yet because you don't have the ability to contextualize all of it yet, but you're learning a ton. And the more and more you surround yourself with it, the more and more you learn it through osmosis. The same way people are doing it on Clubhouse right now. They're hopping into rooms where people are speaking Spanish only to learn Spanish. There are rooms specifically around, hey, come learn this language, come practice this language. And you get in there and you listen, and eventually you start to pick up on things. I think that's the best way, to be honest. Am I a tech lead level yet? Are you talking Pro Evils? Are you talking about tech lead from YouTube, or are you talking about an act like the job tech lead? Yes, I was a technical lead. I was a technical architect, tech lead. I've led a few teams. Am I tech lead programming level, like the actual YouTube tech lead? No, I'm never going to be a FANG developer because I don't care about software that much, and I never will care about software that much. To be honest with you, to be that good. But I'm sure I know more. I believe that I know more about managing systems at scale than the tech lead, and I would also argue that I have more. I bet you have more real world experience than the tech lead. I bet I would be able to go be, I mean this. I bet you that I would be able to go be more effective at more companies than the tech lead would. A lot of times when you get into big companies like that, they specialize. They specialize heavily, and they're good at one. They're good at one thing. But I bet. I'm telling you, I don't think he's seen that much. I love to talk to him. I also don't like that guy that much, but it's all good. Let's see. QA should be a combination of relationship management, constant feedback, and good old fuzzing. Yeah, yes. I think software leads don't like being told they missed something. Yeah, that's true, Gromit. I agree with that. I think most leads don't like being told they missed something. Look, I know I missed something. I know for a fact all the time. They never bothered me ever. And I think that's what made me I think that I was a good tech lead. I think I was a good technical lead. And I think the reason is because I am not, again, make it work, make it right, make it fast. I know that I have enough knowledge to make it work, to have an understanding, and I know that I have enough knowledge to make it right eventually. So I'm okay. I don't feel pressure into knowing all the things at all. And if you tell me I missed something, I'm cool with that. I am open to, now again, we might have to talk it out. We might have to talk it out for sure. But I'm never gonna be like, no, I'm right. Like, no way I missed it. You'd be like, hey, I think you missed something. Yes, I did. What did I miss real quick? Just so I know. But yeah. Is this Cloud9, Cameron? No, this is not Cloud9. This is AWS Cloud Shell. Cloud9 is pretty dope. We should have set up a Cloud9 instance really quick so y'all can see the difference. Cloud9 though might end up costing you money because Cloud9 is simply an EC2 instance that they install some stuff over top of, but I think it's going to be valuable for you to see it. We'll just test this out. You can pick size and everything that you need. I will leave it as this. I'll make it Ubuntu instead. And I'll create it just in case you all want to see that. Help desk. So yeah, that was Sin City. That's really good for the person who did ask. Best way to get in. Help desk is a great place. Be careful with it though. You can get caught up in help desk for way too long. And a lot of the times, help desk roles are not going to. They are beneficial on a resume. The skills that you pick up there, besides the troubleshooting aspects and the customer service aspects, the technical skills that you pick up there probably won't be applicable. Usually help desk is like you're gonna learn and support a private product, an internal product, a project or something. And so be careful about that. Make sure you are learning if you get in a help desk role. Again, great for the resume. Seriously, help desk roles look good on the resume. And they help propel you to other tech roles. But for you to be ready for them, make sure while you're in those roles, you are continuing to learn. The most help desk roles, you're not going to be picking up super transferable knowledge. But again, besides that customer interaction, which is very valuable, extremely valuable, and those steps for troubleshooting, I think can be pretty helpful. So just be wary of that. Don't get caught up there. It's a catch-22 since you have degrees, certs, but companies hire based on both. Yep, degrees and certs are simply tools to get you in. That's all they are, simply tools to get you in. You know, you got to know how to use a tool to be able to work with it. They can get you callbacks, sure, but you know, you got to know the stuff. Fang level tech lead role, nah, man, that ain't me, not me. I do think that I have. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't. You know, I never worked with any of those companies. Technically, probably not. Probably not. They know random stuff, man. They be knowing random stuff. But I think my managerial skills, I would be completely I would be 100% confident in my ability to manage a team. But I don't think I could be a technical lead for a fan company, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. But I agree with you. Better hair too. I love it. Even though your boy needs. Look, I've been busy. Look, my roots are dry. I need a wash. You know, all that stuff. Oh yeah, Pro Evils. Yep. Thank you. Yeah, we did. We got it right at the beginning of the month, like on the 1st. I applied for the 3rd time, mid-January. Right when the numbers were, you know, we started another boot camp, so the numbers were looking good. I was like, let me go ahead and put another application in, and I got it right on the 1st, I think, or maybe January, end of the month. Let's see. Other resources that people recommend for being a tech lead. Yeah. So, no, I don't have any like outside resources. Man, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I got pushed into a technical leadership role, it was really uncomfortable for me because, interestingly enough, I've never been the technical lead for an infrastructure team. I've never been the lead for people doing the things that I know how to do. I've only ever been a lead of software teams, so which is very interesting because I'm not a software engineer, and so it was super uncomfortable, like incredibly uncomfortable for me to do that up front, like the first time. Very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And I read books on leadership rather than technical stuff. I didn't really care about the technical stuff. I was like, I'll pick up the technical stuff. I was more concerned about the leadership things. One bit of advice that I would give that I learned very quickly is that one personality can make or break your effectiveness as a leader. One, like not being able to learn how to gel or to work around one person's personality can really make or break your effectiveness as a leader. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I went and did a bunch of leadership stuff, like training on my own, rather than any technical stuff. Like I figured the technical stuff will come. Yeah, DevOps engineer is what I was. DevOps, I write, I know how to write software. I've built, again, I find software, I actually really find, I'm so intrigued by software engineers because I've written so much code for different pieces of software, but like, I feel like because there's so many different things you can do, because every single thing is different, I feel like you can never like, I feel like you can, it's weird. I feel like you can never be a pro. Like, I feel like you can, it's hard to become like super a pro. Like where you're like, I'm the man, I can do anything. I don't know. It seems super weird. Seems really weird to me, but it's all good. I hate working with people who are super arrogant and have a big ego. Yeah, it is super common in tech. And I don't get it. Like, maybe, I mean, I get it. People are like that in all facets of life. It's super odd. Like, the tech industry is so interesting. Here's the thing about tech industry. The only people who know what the heck is going on is the people on that team, okay? What I've learned over the years is that because tech is tech, no one can really, as opposed to other roles, no one else in the company can really like come down on you about like what you're doing. If you can express what, like, if something's taking you guys a long time, you and your team a long time, if you can rationalize it, if you can say, hey, look, this is the reason why this is going wrong, or this is why it's taking a long time, or why it's going to take a long time, no one can really check you on those things. Like, nobody. So the engineering teams, these group of engineers and stuff, like as you're in the company, if y'all just work together, nobody can, y'all are special, okay? This is like, you have such specific skills that no one can check y'all on it, man. If y'all just work together, like, you just be on the same, if you're just on the same team, like, there's no need to be arrogant. You can get through any problem together. Just, hey, no one else can tell us what to do. If Bill over there is struggling with something and I want to be arrogant about it, it just doesn't benefit anybody. I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't benefit anybody at all. At all. It doesn't benefit anyone. But there are a lot of assholes in tech. I hate to say assholes. There are, but they're not. I don't think they mean to be. There's definitely some arrogance here, and I think for anything where there's perceived intelligence, I think it's going to come across that way. People will start to feel, people can do stuff. They start to feel themselves, man. And I get it, but it's weird. Yeah. I will only feel weird about it if you're the person who can fire me. If you can't fire me, I don't care. I'll ask all the questions. I will be as confident as I can be. But yeah, toxic environments, be careful about toxic environments. Do your best not to subject yourself to one for long. You're gonna run, you might run into a toxic environment. That's okay. Don't feel guilty getting out of there as fast as possible. I'm not saying quit. I'm saying start looking for jobs as soon as you feel it. As soon as you feel that toxicity and you're like, oh, this toxicity is going to stick around, get out of there. Get up out of there. Like, start looking for new roles immediately. A lot of people are loyal, and nah, man, as soon as you start to see some weird stuff, start looking. It might subside. Try to, if you like the place, try to resolve it, talk to people, do what you got to do. But it must be, I mean, hey, good. I'm glad you're getting some out of it, because I'm only giving, everything I'm speaking is from experience. Just get out of there. Get out of there. They're always part of tech you don't know. Yes. Taught CS for 5 years, still walking to things. Yeah. There's so many different tools every single day. Like, again, if we go to that roadmap.sh, if we go over here, look at all the stuff for any of these, front end, back end. Even if we just go to like back end, look at all the stuff that's on here. There's no way, there's no way you're gonna know all of the things that are on here. So eventually you'll get good at some things, and other things you'll have an understanding of, but like, look at all this stuff. How would I know these things in depth? How would I know all these things in depth? It takes a lot of time. But another thing that happens is you'd be super surprised at how much you can learn. And when you come back and you go through all these things, sure, I don't know exactly what every single thing is on here, but like, I kind of do. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of do. But that's 8 to 10 years of going through, and like, and picking up the stuff and diving into it and hearing about it. Now, do I know how all of it works in depth? If I had to go implement something with it right now, can I do that? Probably not. But that's fine. Like that's okay. You know, the goal is just to continue picking up knowledge over time. Yeah, this scary. Yeah, it is scary. It's very scary, but all you got to really look at is the yellow. You look at the yellow. That's the key part. The yellow, the big yellow in the middle. 1, 2, 3. You hit the big points. Understand conceptually how things are working, and yeah. Scooby does. One, it's good to see you. Writing a lot of code. Yeah, I agree with that. That's part of my, when I say immerse yourself, write a lot of code. Good code, bad code, random stuff. That's why I said try. You got to try stuff. You learn a lot from just trying. Even if you never get to the answer, I know it feels bad. It can feel bad, but just touching the stuff, just touching it, getting seat time. That's the key. Getting seat time. I like cars. I'm trying to do a track day. I'm signed up for a track day on the 5th. You know, the first one of the season, but I might not even get to do it. It's non-refundable. But seat time, you know, get your butt in the seat. The more and more time you spend in the seat, the better driver you'll be. Same thing with code. Resources do I recommend online for what? For what? I have different recommendations for different things. For coding, to just get into coding, if you're trying to do it on your own, one, I recommend you not doing it on your own and finding some type of community. Just have people you can bounce questions off of, not necessarily anything you got to pay for. But stuff like Free Code Camp is phenomenal. I think is really good for your introductory coding stuff. If you're trying to learn how to code, I think there are a lot of paid platforms that are super helpful as well. Again, for cloud computing, I don't know if there's going to be a time when I tell people to stop going to Linux Academy, but I think it's just not Linux Academy. A Cloud Guru is where I tell people to go nonstop. But there, for programming, there are a million resources, and the reason there are a million resources is because coding's not easy to learn. It's not like it just isn't because it's different from everything else you've learned in your life. Okay. And I think the reason why there are so many of these resources, and there will always be more resources for learning how to code, is because everyone learns differently. Everyone all these different platforms portray this stuff differently. And you know, you are going to find a resource useful that someone else doesn't find useful, because the learning isn't it's not exact. It's not like okay, you like when you see A, the answer is B. When you see C, it's not that straightforward. You're learning how to use tools to solve problems, and that can be much harder to learn. It's a little more abstract than something like the cloud, to be honest. And so there's always going to be there's going to be new resources for you every day for that. But definitely check out Code Academy Coding Game. That sounds cool. Don't be afraid to practice. I was super afraid to practice coding because I felt like I was so bad at it. I was so confused. I was so afraid to try any problem. Like people always tell you, oh, you go build the thing. I do think that's weird. It's hard to know how to build something, but like I had coding challenge. Like I would find all the websites for coding challenges and I would be too afraid to try them. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm not gonna try it. Yo, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. I'm telling you, the process of trying to, even if you right now, I'm serious, pick a language that you've never seen before, go look at a coding challenge, try to do it in that language. You will learn, you know, if you give yourself 30 minutes, in that 30 minutes, you will learn a lot, even if you're just reading up on how to get the language installed. And that you've now learned something you didn't know before. You know, every stride doesn't have to be 100 yards, like, you know, inch by inch. Life's a cinch. That's what I say. I'm talking to you as someone who's not the smartest knife. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. You know, I'm not being 100% honest with you. That's not me. But I learned a lot over the years. I touched a lot. I saw a lot of things. Like I threw myself into a lot of things and was confused almost always. I don't even think I would have considered myself a decent engineer until the past like 2 or 3 years, where it all kind of came together. But it all was because of all the things that I picked up along the way. And then one day it all just clicked, for me at least. It all just kind of started to make sense. And now I've learned that I can now, like when I see new technologies, when I see new problems, when I see new things, like it's so much easier for me to understand how to approach them. It's so much easier for me to consume them, because of just all the things that I've touched and all the things that I've seen over time. But just take your time. You don't gotta rush through it. What I tell people is, I know people, I know lots of people now with 2 years of experience who've, had to fight to get into roles, but 2 years of experience. I know people who aren't good at all, not even a little bit, but who learned some things and can talk about it, who are making six figures in the United States. Again, it matters where you're located, but in the United States, making six figures, no problem. 1 or 2 years of experience, easy. The money will come. The money ain't the problem. The money's not the problem at all. You'll make the money. You'll make the money. I think that you won't be, even if you're making the money, I actually think it actually works backwards. Like, I think that one of the problems in tech is that you'll start to make the money, and you'll start, because you're making so much money, that will introduce a little bit more of the imposter syndrome. You're like, I don't know enough to make this money. Like, I don't really know enough to be making this kind of money. They're gonna fire me. What's gonna happen? Hey, people don't know this stuff. The reason why the salaries are so high, people do not know this stuff. If you only watch today's stream, if you know nothing else about tech and you watch today's stream and now you're like, oh, well, I heard of this thing called CloudWatch. I now know there's this thing called Cloud Shell. You learned like 2 words from AWS. You now know more than 80% of the entire population about cloud computing. Okay. If you spend another day watching this, you now know more than 95% of the people in the world who know stuff about cloud computing. You don't need to know that much to get in, because there aren't a lot of people doing this. Think about the people in your life. Go talk to people. There are not a lot of people utilizing, or who know these things, who are picking up these skills, but every company needs them. Every company, every single one needs them. There are tons of jobs. You don't have to be, trust me, you don't have to be amazing at all. Everyone keeps looking at FANG companies. People keep looking at all the senior engineers. It's not true. It is a facade for sure. Everyone out here is just figuring it out as they go. There are people out here. Okay. There are people out here who know what they're doing. There are people out here who really do know what they're doing, and they're getting paid accordingly. They are working at the places they're supposed to be working, and they're getting paid accordingly. There are companies, most companies need people to help keep their website up to date. Okay. Like, they need someone to be able to help deploy updates for products they have and stuff. It's not rocket science. It really isn't rocket science at all. For most companies, it's not rocket science at all. So just try to keep that in mind. It can be super discouraging, but it's some people are rocket scientists. I sure as heck am not a rocket scientist, and I will continue to go work for the companies. Now work for myself, but if I ever have to go back into the workforce, I will simply keep going back to the companies who don't need rocket scientists, which is me. I'm not a rocket scientist. The government, I keep telling y'all this, government contractors, you can get paid a stupid amount of money to go help the government. When I say help your governments have better technology, but like the standards are pretty low. I'm sorry, government. The standards are pretty low. I need to respond to this email. I'm trying to actually have the product owner for the government contract that I was running come on and talk about our journey. Like, we had a pretty significant journey, especially in the government, doing some really cool things. He actually they actually brought him in from a Silicon Valley company, and they brought him into the government to kind of help out with stuff like this. So we really took a really cutting edge approach, especially for the government, and we did some pretty cool things, and it all paid off during COVID. Like, it all, the project was with the Small Business Administration. I was literally the lead for the digital footprint of the US Small Business Administration. And, we're all fine one day, and then the next day they're saying, hey, you need to be able to take in and process millions of business loans in like 3 days, where there was no structure for this, and there was no team. Our team is small. Like, it was crazy. It was pretty wild, but it was a pretty interesting process, and we're trying to figure out how much we can tell people, and like how much, like, We're not talking about a nice little talk about it. We're talking about in depth, like this is where we started. Here are the architecture diagrams. Here's us drawing it out. Here's how the data flowed. Here is, here were the challenges that we ran into. And so that challenge caused us to make these decisions. And this is where we went to next. And we did this and this. Here's what worked. Here's what problems we ran into. That's why we made these next decisions, to kind of show people kind of the way that these things evolve, and people kind of see these things. But there's a lot of places there's so many places for everybody. SpaceX is rocket science. Exactly. I'm not a SpaceX guy. I'm just not. That's probably not for me. I would love to, even though I got NASA over here. I probably, I could probably help a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. When you've been on a government contract that require everyone on your team to have, so I will say, we talk about that a little bit as well. The CEH is like the laughing stock. That is one of the problems with government contracts. It has to do with how they're bid and what you must be able to prove to determine your eligibility. It's weak, but it's kind of weird. Coding challenge is necessary in order to get a nice role. So I would say nowadays you should expect it, even if it's not a development role. I got them all the time for DevOps roles. Usually they're not crazy tough, but understanding how to approach them, I think, is important. You don't need to go learn all of the FANG algorithms, but you need to have tried to practice a few coding challenges and kind of understand how to check it out. They have a Google form to process loans at the SBA. Maybe they do. They did not when I left. They definitely did not they didn't when I left. Now, individual, well, it's a breakdown of there's a national SBA and then there's a smaller, whatever. But it was actually pretty interesting. It should have been a Google form. That would have been perfect, No, I'm not in the Bay Area. I'm on the other side of the country. I'm actually in Baltimore, Maryland. Yep. Hard to go from being self-employed to an employee. I bet it would be. I'm not gonna lie. I bet it would be very difficult, even after just a couple months of being self-employed. I guess the thing is, luckily, not my problem. The thing that concerns me right now is I'm trying to build a significant business. What's exciting about the process in striving to build a pretty robust, like, large organization, is that now I'm 100% sure I could support myself with just me and maybe one other person. I could support me and my family on my own. 100% could do it. The problem is I'm trying to build a much larger business than that. It's not to make millions or anything like that. It's literally, sure, that's great. I just want to be able to support my desire to be able to race cars. But the goal is, I told you, I'm trying to create the biggest apprenticeship program on the planet. I'm trying to scale. How do you scale access, for one? We're figuring out how to do that now. This is scaling access a little bit, but we're trying to figure that out. But how do you scale opportunity? How do you scale experience? How can you, I see no reason why just about everyone can't get there's so many problems that need to be solved. How do we allocate? I told y'all, I have some stuff coming, man. I know I keep saying it. It's coming. Stuff is coming down the pipeline. It'll hit and it'll be great. Or it won't, but we'll have a good time getting there. Baltimore is technically in a Bay Area. That's true. You are correct. So I am in the Bay Area, if anyone else should ask. Race electric cars, when the cost comes down, I will, 100%. I'm in on electric cars. I am not an electric car hater at all. I do think that I've driven Teslas. They're cool. Straight line speed is exciting. I'm into more dynamic driving, and right now electric cars are simply too heavy for me to really love them. But I'm in on them. I like electric cars. I think they have a little bit of they got some room to grow. Are there volunteering opportunities? I'm a tech writer for Silicon Valley startup. We'll be happy to spend a few hours weekends helping. So if you really want to volunteer, maybe there's nothing there right now. Something I did say a couple weeks ago is that one thing I won't do is unpaid internships. A lot of people have asked. I have 4 apprentices on my team right now, and actually we're partnered with another another organization, and so there are 6 of them total, 5 of them total. And yeah, I mean, I won't do an unpaid internship, so I won't do that. But if you really want to do some volunteering, I think that sounds great. We can definitely set up. Reach out. Don't reach out to me in Twitch whispers. Hit exclamation point LinkedIn and reach out to me there. That would be the best place. But that sounds pretty cool. I'd love to figure out a way to do that and make it worthwhile for you. Atlanta is turning into a new Bay Area. It really is. Atlanta's pretty interesting right now. Elon just announced that Austin, Texas is it. I mean, yeah, Austin for sure. Texas is definitely, there's definitely going to be more popping up around for sure. What's up, Blah? How you doing? You're on the team of assistant marketing director. That is true. Everyone meet, if you haven't met Blah, Blah is our assistant marketing director for sure. I will say, Blah, I did tweet at LaCroix the other day, and they responded, but they responded with a link to apply again for sponsorship like we did last time. But vendor relations, hey, I'm with it. That's what we need. New Corolla, a GR Corolla. I didn't know there's So this is good because they're not bringing the Yaris GR over here. The Yaris so I'm into. People don't like hatchbacks. I love hatchbacks. Especially all-wheel drive turbo hatchbacks. That is why I drive a Ford Focus RS, because I love them. If the Yaris came over here, the Yaris GS came over here, GR, I don't know why I keep saying GS. If the Yaris GR came over here, I would, the Gazoo Racing, I would 100% get that, but it's not coming. So if this is a real GR car, or is it, they're gonna keep it front wheel drive, aren't they? Probably. Hey, don't talk about Fords like that. I have 2 Fords, and so far they've been good to me, okay? Don't, they can't break down. Come on, man. Come on. Now they've been good to me though. That my truck, Fords, they're fix or repair daily, but they're affordable fun, okay? They're affordable fun. I'm in the Bay until garlic noodles and Steph Curry's in your city. There's no remix of the Bay Area. That's fair. I'm okay with that. Any mods? No. So the only mod I have right now, it is stage 1. I have a off the shelf tune from Cobb, and the only reason why I've kept it stage 1 is because I've never I got the Focus RS, like April of last year, and I haven't tracked it yet. And I don't want to make any changes to it until I understand how it behaves. And so that's what March 5th is for, to start doing some track days with it, before I start changing some stuff. Yeah, it's not a great platform for tracking. I might pick up I might use it for a little bit, and maybe in a couple months pick up like I don't think I'll be able, so maybe I can find like an NC Miata for like 2,000 or 3,000. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know if I can fit in one. Like that's the problem. I can fit in them all. I got an ND Miata because I love the way ND Miatas look, and I almost got one before I got the RS. But when I sit in it, I can fit in it, but I guess my legs are too big, so like I can't turn the steering wheel farther than my legs are like hitting the steering wheel. But I am pretty comfortable while sitting there, but sucks. I know the NCs are larger, so we'll see. I don't know. How does someone without a LinkedIn account reach out to you? Exclamation point. Well, actually, I'll just send you my email is academy.mastermind.io. Not academy. Never mind. I lied to you. That's not it. It is abrooks@mastermind. Hold on. I'm sending it now. Shoot me an email. LinkedIn is where I'll get back to you first, though, but I will get back to you via email. I get so many emails, but I will get back to you. I've gotten pretty good at I set up some filters, so I've gotten pretty good at filtering out my emails and stuff. So I'll definitely get back to you if I haven't got back to you yet. All right, but I think that's it for today. We may or may not. So we usually do. What's up, Amano? Welcome to the channel. I missed a lot of follows. I'm sorry. Pray and play. What's that? Zerntic, welcome. Snipe, good to have you. Quixotic Robot, welcome as well. 72 Cuts, good to have you. Digital Fendi, I think I got you there. The Outcasts, sorry, Miss Jackson. Who? I'm for real. I like Outcast. And you spelled it like Outcast. I like that. Hopefully you like Outcast. If getting into tech, LinkedIn is important. I agree. LinkedIn is pretty important. But yeah, that's it for today. Tomorrow is Build Saturday. I got sidetracked with some stuff. We're probably gonna do it. That's where the name came from. Perfect. Outcast is Outcast. What? Still top 5 favorite musical artists / groups for me. I love them. But tomorrow is gonna be Build Saturday. We're gonna do something. I have a bunch of them set out, created already. I'm trying to think what would be a good thing. So Build Saturday. So every other Saturday is a different thing. There's Build Saturday on one Saturday, and then the next Saturday is office hours. So I'm pretty sure last Saturday was office hours. I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure tomorrow is Build. What will we build? Oh, no. Actually, let me just look at the calendar. There's a calendar. Let me just look at the calendar because I'm not sure. If it's just office hours, I don't need to stress about it. I don't remember what we did last Saturday. Mastermind. Any of them will work. Yeah, tomorrow's Build. We will likely build. I kind of want to do the serverless lab, but we already did some serverless stuff. Yeah, every Saturday is an early stream. Every Saturday is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I know everyone can't get there, but yeah, it'll definitely be an early stream. I don't know what we're gonna do. It'll be a surprise for you all if you want to come through. I'm trying to think what I want to do. I can't. So here's the reason why I'm struggling to tell you what we're gonna do, or why I say I have some created, but I can't just pick one. The reason is because I don't want to so one interesting thing that happened is after we did the very first Build Saturday, which wasn't even really that buildy of a Saturday, people began to reach out about companies who have technical products and things who may want to sponsor a Saturday build series where we're actually, going through something with their product. And I don't want to utilize some of the ones that I had already created in efforts to possibly do a sponsored stream. But we'll build something cool tomorrow. We'll write some code tomorrow for sure. We're gonna build something software related tomorrow. Probably not infrastructure related. We'll probably build a cool tool. So yeah, so if you want to come through tomorrow, come check it out. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe I'll tweet about it tonight or in the morning. But it's basically the morning. We're only 12 hours away from it. Some Java. Sure. We'll build tools that build cool tools. Yeah. Socials. All of my socials are at Mastermind.io. Like all of them. Even LinkedIn. They're all at Mastermind.io. Feel free to follow. Thank you so much. What's that? Sumnia. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for follow. But that's it for today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Tangible takeaways. You learned about CloudWatch. CloudWatch gives you a lot of observability tools, metrics, monitoring, logging that you can use, events as well to help understand what's going on with your systems, help manage them, help you get information about them. We also learned a little bit about Systems Manager, which has a suite of tools as well that allows you to manage your systems in AWS. It's designed around managing fleets of EC2 instances, but there's a bunch of other stuff in there that can help you. Things like parameter store, which allow you to do some secrets management as well, even in your EC2 instances, but really with whatever tool that you're using. And we also dove into the Cloud Console just a bit, just because it's a new thing and it's a way for you to be able to use the Amazon, the AWS, it's a browser-based AWS CLI, console that allows you to interact natively in the browser with your AWS account and resources, and so you can be able to do cool things to start to engineer in there. You now no longer need to go outside of AWS at all if you don't want to. I still prefer to, but now you don't have to because of all these tools. Next week for Horizons, we'll be diving into security. So we'll be learning people asked about CloudTrail and stuff tonight. We'll be learning about all that. We'll learn about security and compliance next week. as well as security in the cloud, and also filling in the gaps, AWS best practices. So not only will we dive into security and compliance and understand how to handle a lot of those things, what tools are available to help you with security and compliance. We'll also dive into AWS best practices. We'll dive into the AWS well-architected framework, all bunch of stuff like that. Next Friday will be probably a pretty packed Friday. So we'll probably be learning the whole 3 hours. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. Then if you want to come back on Monday for pipelines, let's just cover what we're going to be doing all week. Next week in pipelines is all into infrastructure as code, but specifically configuration management tools. So we'll be doing, last week we did Terraform. This week we'll be doing Ansible. We'll be learning about configuration management and then diving into Ansible all week. And then in Decoded, what are we doing in Decoded? Decoded is always the one I never know what we're doing in Decoded. I never even have an idea. Object-oriented programming. All next week we'll be learning object-oriented programming. And so we've been utilizing Go a lot in here. It'll be all Python next week. We will, it'll be 95% Python, 5%. Sorry, I can't do math. 5% Go, because Go is not an object-oriented language. It does have object-oriented paradigms, which we will learn about, but we'll be diving into Python all next week to learn object-oriented programming. But cool. That's it. That's what we'll be doing. Thanks everybody for coming through. Will you do design patterns or simple inheritance? We probably won't dive too deep into design patterns because this is the apprentice level courses. We actually have more advanced courses coming along that we do. And so design patterns will probably go into that portion. Inheritance we will definitely do as a part of OOP. Like, you can't really get around it. You got to learn inheritance as a part of that. So yeah, we'll dive into that. But cool, I appreciate that. Thanks everybody for coming through, for spending this Friday with me. Congratulations on finishing the week. Go ahead and wind on down and relax a little bit. Go spend some time with your families. Recharge a little bit before the new week if you can. But still, if you have some time and some energy, put in that work as well. You know what? Good balance. Make sure you are taking good balance. I am about to go chill. I'm about to go eat first off. We got some food. I told you we got some DoorDash in here. Gonna go get some DoorDash, get my food. We got Amici's, which is a restaurant in Little Italy here in Baltimore. Getting a little bit of Italian. This is gonna be pretty darn good. I should have go DoorDash. If you could, I would. I might check. But then I'm gonna go relax, with the wife and rubber belly check on the little one since we are getting so close. We got some news today that it may be a little bit earlier than we expected. We'll see what happens. Just getting prepared. But I'm gonna go relax. I'll see you all in the morning if you want to come back for the build series. If not, I'll see you next week. If not, I'll see you whenever you come back. I appreciate you coming through. You went to Fells Point? I'm further up north than Fells Point, but not too far away. Well, peace out, everyone. Who are we gonna go raid? We have to go raid somebody. So who are we gonna go raid? Let's see who is online. Oh, Melky. Let's head over to Melky. Yep, I am north. I'm pretty north in the city. Weren't you PG County? I grew up in PG County. I grew up in PG. Now I'm in Northwest Baltimore now. Not quite Towson. I'm still in the city. I'm still in the city. I don't know what the name of this. I don't know what my neighborhood name is, to be honest with you. Yes, right next to Parkville, right outside of Parkville. No, Pikesville. Sorry, right outside of Pikesville. Right outside. All right, so let's go ahead and raid Melky. Melky does some really cool stuff, doing some React stuff right now. Melky is also a part of the Only Devs team. So we'll head over there. 140-26. As long as I've been here, I don't know much about the road. I don't really know the parts of the city. I know how to get around, but I don't really know. I don't know. I can't even tell you. That's why I can't tell you where I live, to be honest. Not because I don't want to share, because I don't know. That's what GPS is for. All right, so we'll head over to Melky. Let him know we said hello. But peace out, everyone. We got a 10-second countdown. That doesn't look like Melky's channel. Oh, wait. No, we're about to raid the wrong person. Okay, you miss a character and you're gonna go. It's weird that person is actually live. Like, cause it'll only let you rate someone who's live, I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah. Awesome as always, spending time seeing. Again, I really do appreciate that. I feel like now we have to go over to the other guy. Nah. We're gonna see Melky. Well, peace out, y'all. I will. I'm so happy to go be eating right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's a fat thing to say, but your boy is hungry. I'll see you all another time. Peace out.